Skechers store, Skechers.com, or whatever high-performance sports shoes are sold.
Ice Cube's Big Three season is heating up, and it all comes down to this. The Big Three playoffs are coming to Dallas, Texas. The 4 best teams in the Big Three battle it out for a spot in the championship. The action starts with the legendary Big Three Celebrity Game. 3 games of the most physical, competitive, and nonstop 3-on-3 action. The game played the way you love. Watch live Saturday on CBS at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and catch replays Monday on BET. Oh, yay, yay!
FS1. To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1. Go to foxsports.com for details.
Here they come! Oh,
what's that sound? This is the show that has 2 crows and a cup of Joe.
Who is Joe?
LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox.
Apparently we had a little bit of a
Almost every car made over the last 10 years has a camera. Did you know that when you replace a windshield, the camera needs recalibrated? If your glass provider doesn't fix the camera, you could have issues with safety features like forward collision alert, adaptive cruise control, or emergency braking. Don't trust some guy in a truck to fix or replace your windshield and then have to make a second appointment to calibrate your camera. You need Olson's Auto Glass. 2041 West 7th Avenue in Eugene. Olson's Auto Glass, repairing windshields since 1938.
Beaver Nation, this is your moment to be part of something bigger. Oregon State football is building the future, and we want you with us at Reser Stadium this fall. With 2026 mini plans, you can secure your seats for some of the biggest games of the season and experience the energy of Beaver football your way. Visit beavertickets.com or call 1-800-GO-BEAVS to purchase your mini plan today. Pack Reser. Build the legacy. Go Beavs!
Oregon, land of forest green, mountains snowy white.
Yes, we're going to keep them the same
nature lovers
this week, and then we're going to switch the clock when we get Joey and others on to move it around.
Because paths
Josh said, as long as I say their stuff at the top of the hour, they're fine.
Be careful never to start a wildfire. Please keep Oregon green.
Whoa, long time no see. It's me, the Rock t-shirt in the back of your closet. Dude, remember? You crowd surfed in me, man. But you haven't worn me in like forever. I get it, you're retired, but I still got some rock left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Even though the weather is getting warmer, many people in our community are still vulnerable and need your help. Raven, Radical Assistance for Vulnerable Eugene Neighbors, is seeking donations to help those who need it most. Raven is asking for help with water bottles, raincoats, socks, shoes, blankets, tarps, and camping gear, or even a direct cash donation. Donations can be made at Raven distribution sites or via GoFundMe. For more information, visit our website, raveneugene.org. That's RAVEN, Eugene.org.
Down by 1 with only 10 seconds to go. Anders gets the ball, shakes the defender, has an open shot, and he's checking his phone. What in the world is he doing?
You definitely wouldn't risk losing a game like this. But by texting and driving, you could risk even more, your life. So, don't drop the ball, drop the call.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
KORE Springfield, Eugene. I'm Danny Havel. You can listen to me on The Drive, weekdays from 3 to 6 on The Sports Animal, Eugene.
10, 9, 7,
Dude, I am
6,
totally stuck.
5,
It's about
4,
time.
3,
My God! Okay, it's happening.
1.
Are you ready? Are you ready? I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your...
You're listening to Oregon's premier afternoon sports show. This is The Drive.
Ooh.
Welcome, friends, to the Drive on the Sports Animal Audio Network. Thanks for lending us your ears for the next 3 hours. Our only goal is to keep you entertained and get your participation. How can you not get pumped up when you hear that? People jumping around, having a good time, listening to some rock and roll. Welcome into a Tuesday, friends. Packed show again for the next 3 hours. Alik Terry, Joe Loring audio from Oregon practice. Tyler Martell, that's the way he was born. He is the Sheldon Irish football coach. He'll be in the studio. Half past the hour. Jason Quick at 4:20 and 30 seconds is what I have on here. So 4:20:30. Okay. We talk a lot of Blazers with the senior writer for The Athletic. There's a football season ticket stunt that Beebs found for us, which I think is very interesting for the Akron Zips. Joe Moorhead is behind that. Tyson Alger, top of the 5 o'clock hour. Welcome into the program and our friends at AM 960 Sports, KLAD, on the coast, Fox Sports Newport 92.7 FM. This is the Sports Animal Audio Network, live in the Valley as well, 102.9, 1050 AM in Eugene. I'm Doc. Right over there is Baby J. What a boy.
Well, I know that the music is working well for us here because whenever Goose is involved, whenever Goose is shaking his head, that's when I know that we're doing the right thing.
Good one today. It was a good one today.
It's the same music we use every single time we start the program.
The same song every day. Some days you feel a little bit more bouncy. I get a little bounce today.
That's Goose, Steve Mims, former scribe of the Register Guard, who we've reinvented him. We put him in the closet. We retooled him, and we brought him out as Goose 2.0 here on the radio program. So our phone number, the Oregon Man Clicks hotline, is open for you. Open phones for the first part of this program. Then we'll have Ty Martell at the bottom of the hour. We also want to talk about, we did this yesterday with Oregon State football. We want to talk about realistic expectations for Oregon football. And I think that's interesting that it's called realistic expectations, because I think most of the Oregon fan base has wildly unrealistic expectations every year, the last few years, for Duck football. But we'll kick it around. We'll do the over-under on wins that Vegas has. It's a pretty high number. We'll discuss that in the program as well. I'm really looking forward to the conversation with Jason Quick, and I hope I at least get one or two questions in, because I think, Baby J, you just have to understand that this is probably going to be the Goose and Jason Quick show.
Not at all. I want to hear Baby J. I know there's a lot of Blazer questions. Let's pepper the questions. I'll be hanging out with Jason all weekend, so I can get plenty of questions in. This is your guys' opportunity as well. And
thank you.
And to get the view from somebody before the big vote tomorrow, who's been covering it really well. Yeah. And then the big vote's tomorrow. So it's kind of the perfect day for him to come in.
I have a lot of information on that, and I have a couple of queries as well. So I guess we're going to get to ask some questions, Baby J.
I guess so. We should mention today that it is the day of Goose. We've been talking about the 6 degrees of separation
of Steve
and today is an exemplary day for that.
Are you bothered by that? I made fun of that. I thought
three of my good friends are all going to be on the show today. I just told you.
Yeah, just say what you said before we got on the show.
You know, if you could put together a foursome, who would you want? If you gave me a foursome with Jason, Tyson, and Tyler, I'd be more than happy to go play 18 holes with them.
See who left out again?
You could be the caddy, Danny.
You and I.
And hey, shout out!
You know what? That's better than the beverage cart girl.
Shout out to Black Sales, who just said, "What's up, boys?" And Xavier Barker, who's been popping in. So we got some folks already in on the stream. Shout out.
All right. Yeah, they are. That's on the YouTube. The
Go Irish.
Twitter,
Xavier Barker's listening in for Tyler Martell at the bottom of the hour.
There he is. So that's the Twitter, the YouTube, and the Twitch. You can see us on the video. Podcast comes up. Go to the website, sportsanimalEUG.com. All the socials are the same thing, Sports Animal EUG. And again, we're growing this thing on in Roseburg starting on Monday, and other markets coming on board before the end of the month. So the Oregon Mac Links hotline at 541-844-3484. Remember that number. And out of the market, meaning outside of Eugene, it's toll free. We'll pay for the call, 877-844-3484. So I don't, we try and remain positive and uplifting and
none of us.
What?
Not me usually.
Okay. I try and stay positive and uplifting, and sometimes
You
I
do.
hope the energy stays that way. But Goose, I want to give you a little bit of the floor here because media is changing, and it has. The digital age, I think, for access has been wonderful, but what we're seeing, unfortunately, is it's killing the smaller and the individual creativity, I think, in some markets. And in the Eugene Springfield area, we had a casualty from that. And I know it was close to you because you were working with them, a local digital paper that, I mean, I guess I don't know if that's
And
an
print.
oxymoron.
And
Print, right? I
We
can't
keep print.
forget that. And unfortunately, they're closing their doors. So talk about the Chronicle and your experience there and what you've noticed.
Yeah, the Chronicle's been around since 1909. Most people around here probably knew it as the Cresswell Chronicle for a long time. In 2019, a wonderful man named Nolan Nash, who has a great sports background, bought the paper with his wife, started it up, expanded into Springfield, Pleasant Hill, and Cottage Grove. So covered 4 communities, covered them really well. Did so in a very short staff, very small staff. That was one of those little paper that can, whatever we talk about, the little train that can. I thought they did a wonderful job. I was honored. He asked me about the last year to kind of do some freelance for him. I did. We were actually really kind of starting to embark on, we were going to really go full force onto some high school sports here in the fall. But unfortunately, he told me last week and announced in the paper and to his staff today that unfortunately, yeah, they're a victim of today is the last edition of the Chronicle. Again, I hope most people around here have heard of it. If you have and you're just finding out about this, I know you folks in Springfield, Pleasant Hill, and Cresswell and Cottage Grove have gotten great benefit from it. But yeah, when papers like this go out, these communities lose a lot. And I think the Springfield and the smaller communities around here lost a lot today. And I just wanted to kind of go on record and give a shout out to Noel, who, like I say, is an amazing person, built this paper, and unfortunately today had to break the news that it wasn't going to be able to continue. But I told him today that he didn't let anybody down. The community let him down a little bit. Couldn't keep it going, and unfortunately the community will be at a loss without it. So R.I.P. to the Chronicle, a wonderful newspaper.
That's the challenge, isn't it? Is that there's so many, we're inundated, we're swarmed, we're overwhelmed by all of the information that comes at us. A lot of it false, by the way. I'll just say 90% of what you see in the Twitterverse is just garbage. But the local people, and Steve, you were part of that, and we cited the Chronicle a lot of times on this program because
they were a key part of your high school coverage.
They were
a couple years ago. They had somebody who called in quite a bit. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say. I had a really good relationship with them. They did a great job. Yep, Mackenzie Days. She did a great job for them, calling in and giving us information about the schools that they cover.
Yep.
And yeah, they were always great.
It's unfortunately a sign of the times that we're living in, which is the instant gratification and the quick hits and the small sound bites. And I'm kind of in that boat as well, as I'm trying to push a rock uphill with this little radio station, because it can't be just a radio station. You have to do a lot of other things to make it viable. And hence I've got wonderful partners throughout the state now. They're going to be on this program with us, and I want people to be a part of it. But the social media aspect of it is, and we talked about this with Neil Everett. It's when ESPN lays off a ton of people that have put their lifeblood and their life work, and they were educated and they got better at it, and then all of a sudden it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Tom Dundon did the same thing with the Blazers, just jettisoning 25% of his workforce. 70 people have to find another career that they trained and toiled in. I don't want this to be the end for people at the Chronicle. I hope that there's another way that they can get reinvented, and maybe there's a savior out there that can revive, because I think the only way you keep people honest is to have good reporters, good people finding the truth. It's the only way we survive as a society, instead of keeping things behind a door. Do you agree, Goose?
I do. And yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot locally. The Red Cigar Bar I spent 21 years is now not locally owned anymore. It was locally owned most of my time there. And I think that was important to have the local ownership on site. But it's impossible now for local owners to be able to afford, I know, just the cost of newsprint, the cost of everything that goes into it, staffing, et cetera. I get it. Unfortunately, though, when newspapers are no longer locally owned, they no longer have kind of the pulse of the community, and we've seen that here. Lookout's come in, done a nice job. They've done it locally owned of sorts, but they also had waited to get a large cash infusion. They raised about $4 million to get started.
They raised it from the community, though.
Correct.
Those were people
because they knew that if you don't have that at the start, you could end up going out like the others. So there's different ways to do it. I'm glad that people are out there trying it. I wish Noel's way had worked, but like I say, that's why I'm glad that what you're doing here is local radio. It's fun to be part of something local, and I hope people appreciate the fact that everything run here is produced and paid for locally.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that they're hyper local, right? I mean, they were even more local than just local.
Absolutely,
it's something that I think has been a sort of a loss with not just seeking out national media, right? And with the rise of AI and all this stuff, like it's gonna be really interesting to see where that goes.
And the whole thing of doing the hot take and the quick hit and the instant gratification, that's where someone like the Chronicle, that's important. We can't lose it, folks. We can't. We lost one. We lost one today. Got to get it back somehow. Maybe there's somebody out there within the sound of our voice. Come on, man. I know there is. Has to be. All right, we come back, kind of flip it a little bit. Oregon football, Alik Terry, Joe Lorig. A lot of Joe Lorig's getting a lot of love on this show this week. Talking a lot of special teams. I think you started this, Goose, with the whole punter conversation with Zach Neal. Kicker, not punter. Kicker. You're right. We'll hear from Coach Lorig, Coach Terry, Tyler Martell, bottom of the hour. Realistic expectations for Oregon football, all in this hour on The Drive.
1050 AM and 1029 FM and the sportsanimaleugene.com. Broadcasting from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Iconic summer moments deserve an iconic drink. Reach for Mountain Dew, an American original. From its beginnings in the foothills of Tennessee to your biggest summer yet. The refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew is the perfect companion to your American summer adventures. Enjoy the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Tasting great since 48. Look for Mountain Dew in stores near you at mountaindew.com. That's mountaindew.com.
At Sun Automotive, we are
just offer him something to drink and we'll bring him in. We're going to do this segment, then we'll bring him in. Okay.
And business is moving. At Sun Automotive, being an automotive technician isn't a plan B. It's a future and an important career that challenges you to grow and gives you the satisfaction of keeping people safe and on the road. For the best service under the sun, come to Sun Automotive.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
While serving in Afghanistan, I was shot in the head by sniper fire. The fighting was so intense, the medevac chopper was barely able to land. I was given a 5% chance to live. I'm Adam Alexander, and I'm a veteran. Today, I visit classrooms and talk with kids about dealing with life's struggles. I tell them, with a little help and a lot of work, that you can overcome any challenge.
EAV helps veterans like Adam get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
I know that some struggles are big and some are small, but they're all struggles, and you have to learn to get through them. With support from DAV, more veterans like me can live their best life. And as a new father, I have one more reason to keep on keeping on. My victory is being there for the next generation.
Adam Alexander, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, Wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep? The real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
1050 AM, 1029 FM, and the SportsAnimalEugene.com. Other stations can say they cover the Ducks and Beavers, but we bring the receipts. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Coach of the Sheldon Irish High School football team, Tyler Martell, is going to join us bottom of the hour here on The Drive statewide. Down there in Klamath Falls, AM 960 Sports, KLAD. KSKR, our good friend Joey Keyran down there in Roseburg, going to bring on the show on Monday. And, of course, we're always on here in Eugene on the Sports Animal. And then out there in Newport, Fox Sports Newport 92.7 FM, KNCU. Follow us on all the shows, socials, sportsanimalEUG.com. Last show this week for Goose. He's going to go out and play some golf. We'll have Jason Quick next hour at 4:20 and 30 seconds, apparently. We have to be exact on that. That's what I have on my rundown. Tyson Alger in hour number 3. That's the 5 o'clock hour.
You're a very exact kind of guy.
That's what it says on my sheet. If it says that on my sheet, that's what I'm going to read it. That's what it said. Look at it. It says 20 minutes and 30 seconds.
I did the math, and we had a break at 17, and so I added 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Oh, God. That's good.
I think
that means that education's
added up.
kicking in.
Yeah, and we always go to breaks exactly at the second you put on there. We never run long or anything.
Exactly.
None of us ever go over because we just love that. All right. So let's talk a little Oregon football. Of course, into fall practice now, getting ready for that first game September 5th against Boise State. League Terry, a lot of talk about the offensive line. We'll get to that in a second. But special teams coach Joe Lorig, and we had, if you missed the program yesterday, by the way, Zach Neal was on with us in the first hour. The Ducks Wire, he's a great scribe as well and a good friend of Goose. You've had a lot of your friends on the last couple of weeks here on the program, Goose.
We like it.
But we talked a lot about special teams. And we've talked about that a lot with Oregon State as well, because it cost them a couple of games last year, and maybe they'll get better at it. But Joe Lorig is the special teams coach, and a kid who last year went 16 of 16 on extra points, played in 9 games for the Ducks as a redshirt freshman. He kicked off 30 times, averaged 64.3 yards per kick. Could you kick it 60 yards, Goose?
Really strong winds. Really, really strong winds.
Baby J, 60 yards? Could you put a 60-yarder in?
Never. And I played soccer too. So I did the classic soccer player thing at one point where I was like, can I kick a football? No.
Didn't work? Okay.
No. I am not a strength athlete. I am an endurance athlete.
So Gage Hurich is apparently going to be the kicker, although there's a welder as well. Is he the kicker or the punter?
The punter.
The punter. Okay, he's the punter. So
28-year-old welder.
I would say he's 28, right?
He's 28 years old. What a great story. We got to get him in here. I'm
almost as old as I am.
Start working your magic, Baby J. So let's hear from Joe Lorig about how Gage is the guy.
Yeah, it's going really well. We, Gage is really a guy that we've been prepping for the last couple of years for this spot. So really excited what he's going to do. We've been, obviously testing and practice and stuff over the last couple of years. And he had great, mentors before him, the guys that had played before him that really mentored him. So super excited about him. Gage and Keaton will also push for him as well. But I think it's pretty confident to say that Gage is going to be the guy.
So special teams going all the way back to Chip Kelly, famously, where Chip Kelly would never want to recruit a kicker. He would have walk-ons come in and would also famously just not go for it in terms of kicking. He would just want to go for it. So I think it's changed a little bit in our Dan Lanning. Guys, don't you agree?
Well, yeah, I think we've seen the importance of making some field goals. There have been some games that he didn't win where, they didn't attempt the field goal that maybe later on they could have, should have, would have. Had a great win, where they kicked a field goal to win it against Boise State a couple of years ago. So certainly, and Gage Hurich is, like you mentioned, is a local kid, and I think that's what you want to do. Is you want to, you don't want to spend a whole lot of scholarships on kicker, but you'd like to get a guy that you believe in. Now, when it's that guy's first year, it's always going to be a little bit stressful, until you see some performance in game. I think fans are going to be in a little bit of a wait and see.
Well, a first year that he is the guy.
Right.
Right, because he did play in 9 games and went
He did.
16 of extra points.
On extra points, yeah. But I mean, I'm talking about lining up to kick a field goal
Sure,
in a game.
that's
I'm
right. Yeah,
guessing
I
most
got
of those
you.
extra points
He had
came with
missed
the
his
game in
only attempt
control.
last year. You're right. That is going to be a difference.
And kickers are one of the most interesting pieces on a team to me because they're out there by themselves. There's so much pressure on them. People talk about they want kicking out of football. I don't. I think kicking is just one of the most fascinating things, especially in college. In the NFL, it's a totally different story because they make every kick now, it seems like. But in college, the psychology of kicking, I think, is fascinating, and seeing kickers with confidence and kickers without confidence. I think that it's really important that he starts off well. And maybe if he doesn't, he can have the ability to turn it around and have to go through that adversity. But it's just one of those things where you don't want to see a kicker that gets those issues.
First off, I believe kickers should be thrown out of fantasy football, but kept in real football. I made that point.
I wasn't
yesterday.
saying that you should.
No,
you're saying that.
I know. I'm saying I definitely want them in real football, but I would toss them from fantasy football. But that's another discussion to be had.
Fair enough.
It is interesting too. I mean, Oregon fans, it feels like still dread the kicker. Aiden Schneider was really good for a couple years for Oregon. Atticus Sappington last year was really good.
Solid.
They've had some pretty good kicking season in recent years. It's just some of those misses, like you mentioned, under the chip. Under the Helfrich era,
under the
that
first
cost
year,
them some
under
games.
the first year with Dan Lanning.
Yeah, and some of those. So they're still a little bit skittish of fans, but like I say, there have been some pretty good years in there. And now we'll see what Gage can do.
So I do want to go back to the kicking as well. So the one thing that crystallizes in my mind, and it was, I think, in Dan Lanning's first year, I was down in Vegas with my boys, October game, playing Washington. And I'm on the golf course and listening to the game, and they line up for that field goal against Washington. I think it was either to tie or to win the game, right? And this was the regular season. And the miss, the bonk off the goalpost. I literally, I threw my 7-iron into the ground. It stuck straight up in the air, and I went bogey, double bogey, bogey in the next 3 holes because I was so upset. So that's a little on the side there. But that's the effect that kickers have had on the Oregon program in a good way or a bad way. And it's been more bad than good, but I think it has turned around in the last few years. Joe Loring, though, talks about the other side of it. I mean, how do you choose the returners? And Oregon does an interesting thing, guys, and I know you've noticed this, is that they're fine putting their number 1 wide receiver out there to return kicks and punts. And so they want the best person back there. And that is an art form, to snatch that ball out of the air as it's coming at you and knowing that there are potentially 9 or 10 guys flying at you down the field. So Joe Loring talks about the process behind choosing returners.
Yeah, this early in camp, I'm hesitant to point out just one guy, because it's still certainly a competition. But I think you said it. You got DeCorian, who's really special. Just think of the guy, anybody that's special with the ball in their hands. And then they have to have the element of being able to catch the punt. So it's not everybody that's special with the ball in their hands, but I think of like Evan Stewart. Coach Switz told me today that Evan Stewart's been really good. DeCorian's been really good. Certainly J-Mac's been back there. Jalen Lott's a young guy. So I think we have a lot of guys here. It's really important. We have 2 goals: own the ball and no penalties. So when you think about that, certainly we want to be good on punt return. Don't mishear me, but we don't make decisions based on who's going to be the most dynamic returner. We make decisions based on who's going to be the number 1 guy that's going to get the ball back to our offense, because we think we're going to have a great offense. And so what I'm saying is it's a combination thing. We chart it every single day. This is the guy that has the most drops. This is the guy with the surest hands. And then also obviously got to have, some athletic ability to make plays, but it might not be the most dynamic guys. What I'm saying, it's going to be the guy, with that has that in combination with the best hands. And I should say those the other way: best hands and can run the ball well.
I think we've noticed that with Oregon over the last couple of years as well. It seems like they're not super aggressive on taking punts out. They fair catch it a lot, but it honestly totally makes sense. If you have the belief in your offense like that, I thought it was fascinating that the way he put that and saying, we actually don't necessarily want to just put the most dynamic guy back there. We just want to keep the ball. And that is something that Oregon has had some issues with at times. So honestly, I think kudos to them. They're going to be able to get it done on offense. You want to have those special teams returns as well. We saw last year against USC with Malik Benson, how big those can be again against Washington, I believe. But sorry, no, that was a long pass, but the USC one stands. So I think it's an interesting quote from him.
Yeah, don't get Ken Woody going on that. He hates the fact that he wants them to try to return everyone and make plays. But I think also it comes from the fact that, Oregon's had an offense in recent years that you felt pretty confident in. If you were Iowa and you were in punting contests and struggling, to score 17 points, you might think, hey, if we got a guy who can get the ball in his hands, let's give him a chance. But
don't give away a possession
Yeah.
is the bottom line to it. And
Yeah.
that's where you can flip the field a bit for your opponent, get them back into a game. We've seen it so many times in other contests where that type of play, and it, again, I'll just go right back to it. Last year, Oregon State could have probably had two more wins if they would have had
A snapper.
A special teams group that executed. Whereas, what's the famous line from John McKay?
What do you think, your team's execution?
Yeah,
I'm in favor.
I'm in favor of it.
Didn't he get fined for that, or like
No, I don't think
suspended or
so.
something?
No, that was back in the day
Yeah,
where you could get away with that.
exactly.
You think he
Tampa
would
Bay
today?
Buccaneers? Yeah, that was a great line. Let's talk about we've talked a lot about Oregon's offensive line. By the way, thanks for tuning into the drive. We're going to have Tyler Martell from Sheldon High School up here in a moment in studio. So if you're watching on the old YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, you can see us. Everybody wave to not everybody. Sorry, Goose, you don't have to wave. Justin and I wave. Goose does his ceremonial head nod to everybody out there in TV land. We'll have Tyler Martell here in a few moments. Jason Quick in hour number 2. And a quote from Jamarcus Shepard we're going to talk about at the top of the hour. So stay tuned on the drive here on Sports Animal Audio Network. Also down in Klamath Falls at KLAD, AM 960 Sports. Also Fox Sports Newport 92.7 FM, KNCU. We've talked about the offensive line a lot. It seems like the last 3 years. Does it seem like the last 3 years we've always talked about the offensive line for Oregon?
Yeah, because every year they've been a finalist for the big award.
But we don't start out the year like that. We start out the year with concerns about who's going to be this, who's going to be that, where they're going to go, and are they going to be good, and who's going to fill those holes and stuff. And then they end up being Joe Moore Award finalists. That's what you said 3 years in a row, right? That's what I have written down.
Yeah, I think so.
So what's the hubbub about with Oregon's offense? Do you think Alec Terry can pull this together?
I'm with you. Basically, I think people are concerned that they don't have the talent, because I don't think there's any doubt that they have the development. They have the same developers there. So I think people are concerned that they don't have the people that are in the room that can output what they want. But I just think that they know what they're doing. I mean, that's just simply what I think it comes down to.
Yeah, you see it a lot in college football these days. Everybody panics, the guy hasn't played in 2 years. Oh, he must not be good enough. It's like when, with quarterbacks, I've got to bring in the transfer because we're not sure this guy, but it feels like they only brought in the one transfer, the Bennett kid. And I think that it tells you that they
from
like
Yale,
the
right?
there,
That's
the
Michael
likes,
Bennett.
The likes of the ones that they've seen in camp. They've seen him more than anybody else. So again, be like that. The Boise State game 2 years ago, they came out of that one. The offensive line was terrible, took all the blame for it. It took a couple weeks to get it going. Maybe it's like that again, but I think by the end of the season, it'll be fine.
They certainly hope not. But let's hear from Alec Terry, because he was asked the question, and I think it's a fair one because nothing's really been set. I think Poncho's really the only one you could say he is absolutely the guy who's going to be over the ball. But could a freshman start, Coach?
No doubt. I think Poncho is a perfect example of that. Poncho, when he first got here, he rotated with Stephen Jones, and then later on that year with Marcus Harper, and both of those guys had successful careers. And speaking to Manny and Tommy, they've come out hitting the ground running, and they're both, like I said earlier in spring, they're both physically gifted. Manny's obviously behind a little bit just because he didn't get here till later, but you can see the physical specimen they are. They love the game. They're constantly with each other. They're constantly trying to get more, constantly getting with Coach Walk and the law firm and making sure they get some extra meetings and getting that kind of stuff in now, because they know their role could end up being much larger later on down the year. As much as they put in, it could happen maybe earlier in the year. Who knows? But they've done a tremendous job with the amount we've thrown at them on purpose, and they've done a good job absorbing it, taking it on, asking the whole law firm for questions, and not being afraid to ask questions. I think young guys tend to be afraid to ask questions at times. They're not in that stage right now.
So I'll just say I've been fortunate. I've had the opportunity to discuss things with Coach Terry a couple of times, interview him a couple of times. Very thoughtful, very intense, really knows what he's doing. Oregon's fortunate to have that guy.
Yeah, and looks like they got Mike Cavanaugh back, the old Oregon State
I
line
know.
coach.
I
He
just
then went
saw
with
that.
Jonathan Smith, and then came back. So that's a nice veteran voice to have in there as well.
Absolutely. That's a
and
great
Ryan
point.
Walk, former Sheldon star. We can ask our friend Tyler Martell when he comes in about Ryan Walk. Ryan Walk's on the start of a nice coaching career.
And that leads right into Tyler Martell, Sheldon High School Irish head football coach, joins us next on The Drive.
Don't change the channel. Your radio might explode. Okay, not real, but you miss a minute of the drive, you might miss something, well, spectacular.
On we go.
The Drive is back on 102.9 FM and 1050 AM. The Sports Animal.
The plans you have for your property need the right equipment. Kubota has reliable tractors, utility vehicles, and mowers to help you make the most of your land, along with strong dealer support. Stop by today to explore our lineup. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0% financing or save up to $3,500, plus a first-year K-maintenance service on us. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com/disclaimers for full disclaimer.
Mid-Valley Tractor in Eugene. 40 years, family-owned. Find them at midvalleytractor.com.
It kind of sneaks up on you. You're more tired than you should be, a little less focused, a little less motivated. Maybe you've gained a little weight. It's normal. A lot of men experience it, but that doesn't mean you have to live with it. At Hale Men's Clinic, personalized testosterone therapy can help you restore your energy, your clarity, your edge. Real solutions, real results. Hale Men's Clinic. Feel good now. Curious about your levels? Walk into Hale Men's Clinic in Eugene, Bend, or Roseburg for your free testosterone test today. More info at halemensclinic.com.
Hi, this is Drew from Dalton Carpet on West 11th in Eugene. Dalton Carpet is family-owned and operated and proud to serve you for 30 years. Now more than ever, someone you know is walking on a Dalton floor. Do you have a flooring project? Get your summer off to a new start. Lane County's best selection with hundreds of rolls of carpet and thousands of feet of click-together flooring on display and in stock right now at unbeatable prices. Come see us today at Dalton Carpet, right here on West 11th in Eugene.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it'll take years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 10 million people without destroying your credit. They can reduce your interest rates, lower your total payments up to 50% to get you out of debt fast. For a free consultation, call Consolidated Credit now. The program works.
Call 800-499-4107. 800-499-4107. 800-499-4107.
Consolidated Credit Solutions Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33313. Licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Kansas CSO 0019051. Maryland DM 1492. Oregon DM 892. Licensed by the Virginia State Corporation Commission, license number TC83. Service may adversely affect the individual's credit. Non-payment of debt may lead to additional finance charges or collections activity, including legal action. Actual interest rates, length of program, and monthly payment reductions will vary by consumer and creditor. Yours could be higher or lower. Not a loan company. We do not lend money.
Eric Cargile's family has worked the same land for 5 generations.
Takes all we've got. Animals don't care if you get sick, and the nearest hospital is 50 miles away.
That changed when nurse practitioner John Hodges opened Rawls Family Medicine.
He keeps us going, all of us, and that's kept our farm and ranch alive.
How has a nurse impacted your life? Share your story at thepowerofnurses.org.
Sometimes they're right.
Rest my case.
Sometimes they're wrong.
You want answers. The truth. You can't handle the truth.
But no ears were harmed in the making of their disagreements.
I don't know what we're yelling about.
You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Realistic expectations for Oregon football. We did Oregon State yesterday, so last segment of this first hour will talk Oregon football and the over-under win total that Vegas has. Concern over a Jamarcus Shepard quote. I still want to listen to the quote again, Justin. I heard it once, so I want to listen to it one more time. Jason Quick coming up at 4:20 and 30 seconds. I'm going to keep saying that in hour number 2. We'll have some follow-up after that because I'm sure there's going to be a lot to consume from the guy who's covering the Blazers almost better than anybody else. Akron football season ticket stunt. I heard about this. Beebs told me about this, and I said, yeah, I think we should talk about that on the show. Tyson Alger from Lookout Eugene Springfield, the Ad5 Quarter, are going to join us top of hour number 3 here on the program. AM 960 Sports, KLAD out in Klamath Falls, Fox Sports Newport in Newport, of course. That's probably a good place for them. 92.7 FM, KMCU, and, of course, here in the Valley, on the Sports Animal. Welcome in, friends, wherever you're and however. SportsAnimalEUG.com. I got all those contractual things I got to say now. I got them all done. Tyler Martell is the head coach of the Sheldon Irish football program, and he joins us here in studio. Coach, you've been a good friend of ours for a long time when we were over doing another little show and then game day for a lot of years. And how's the summer gone? Because now, you're going to get ready to start rolling equipment back out, get the kids back, and get at it, man. The season's right around the corner.
Yeah, it feels good. We're itching, and our guys are hungry. Last year wasn't what we wanted.
Yeah.
We feel really good.
So how do you take that from last year and the disappointment? Because the Sheldon football program historically, if folks who from out of the market haven't understood this, a historically good program, a perennial program, as we would say. So there's a high standard and a high expectation within the fan base, within the school, within the kids and the coaching staff, everyone. So if you don't hit the mark as much, so how do you push that reset button with the kids and the coaches and the fan base?
It's exactly what it was, the reset. And we've all been in this mode where we've won so many football games, and our coaching staff's been around for a long time. It's been really cool to see the resiliency of our guys. The kids have been so hungry, and they're using it as motivation. And the reality is, last year we threw a bunch of guys to the fire that weren't ready to be Friday night guys, and now they're ready to be Friday night guys. So it's really cool, and I feel really good about where we're at.
Yeah. The schedule, it's weird now. You got a 5-team league. You play more non-league games than league games. Does that change things at all? I mean, I remember when I first started coming, it used to be when you were playing, it was like 8, and you had one non-league, and then you were right into league. Now you got like about half your season's non-league. Does that give you, if you have guys that are more developmental, does it give you some time to warm them up, or do you feel like, hey, we got to be ready day one, whether it's league or non-league?
Well, in the days of the RPI now, every game's really important. It's not like you used to have that non-league game that didn't matter. It's every game's really, really important. So yeah, we have a ton of non-league games, but you can't afford to go break kids in, so to speak.
Yeah.
What's weird to me is having a bye week. We haven't had one of those in a season in a long time, in the middle of the year.
Was it hard to get those non-league games? Because I know scheduling can be a challenge, especially because, again, with a smaller conference schedule for you, other teams are already in their league season.
Yeah, I think that I don't know how it works behind the scenes.
Okay.
Like
You're just the guy that just...
we could set some stuff up. Like I set it up with Thurston and Justin Stark. We reached out and we should play football. It's
and he was like, okay, sure. I got a team. You got a team. Let's do it.
So, we should play every year. So that's a cool way to start our season. So we start local with Thurston. We end local with Willamette and have a bunch of mixed up stuff in there. But kind of having different opponents is really common for us now over the last 15 years since we've been doing this. We mixed in with the Salem schools a few years ago, and now they're gone, and now they're non-league games. They were league games last year. So it's an interesting mix, but our guys are just hungry to get after it.
Summit's in there. So Thurston and Summit are probably two of the top 5A schools. So you're facing the top of those, and then you've got obviously some of the 6A ones mixed in there as well. So it is a challenging group.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I think people would say, well, Sheldon's playing a couple of 5A schools, which we haven't done, but they're two 5A schools we'd expect to be playing in the semifinals. So we're going to open up with a tough one. And I think that we'll kind of see where we're at right away.
And you talk about some players that were kind of thrown into the fire last year and got their experience that way. And of course, I think you don't want to see guys bite off more than they can chew and be put in situations that they shouldn't be in. But in a way, can't that just accelerate some development?
I think so. I think last year we took our lumps, obviously, but now those same guys are all back. I looked, and we have 11 guys coming back that played a ton of offense for us, and 10 guys coming back that played a ton of defense for us. So it's a really experienced group, and still not like we're senior heavy. So I feel that we have some experience of a good mix of young guys and old guys, and guys that played a ton of football.
Who are some of the returning starters that come back for you? Some of the seniors, some of the leaders for you?
Yeah, Barry Miles is going to be really good for us. Barry.
I coached him Little League Baseball. These guys would be stunned to know I have a connection, but I coached Barry a year or two in Little League.
So by the way, just so you know,
Tyler,
just so you know, so we've got a new theme now on the program is the 6 degrees of separation of Steve Mims for everybody in the state of Oregon, and actually on the West Coast now we're finding out he's related somehow, some way, or a connection to everybody that we know.
He's got it all.
Well,
yes, he does.
Tyler knows. I was sitting on the sideline when Tyler was playing.
That's right.
But anyway,
you're dating yourself a little bit.
I'll let you continue. But yes,
yeah.
Barry Miles, there's some baseball skill that was partially developed by
He's
me.
good in baseball too. I had him out there. Barry's he's committed to Eastern Washington to play DB for him. So he was stellar for us on both sides last year. We had to, because we were so inexperienced in the box last year, Barry was kind of on an island at corner on people's best guy and did a great job. So we expect him to be really, really good. We got a couple senior guys back that missed all of last year, lineman guys with ACLs. So Chase Martin's back. He tore his ACL in the Jamboree.
Okay.
So he missed the whole year when we didn't have any depth there already. So Dakota Aaron tore his. He's back. So those are some senior guys. Isaac Molatelli. He always gets on me because I say his name wrong, but I think
you got it right.
I think that's
As far as
really
that-
close.
Okay.
Isaac will be kind of Swiss Army knife for us, so to speak. He'll play on the O line. We'll be able to put him at kind of tight end. We'll play him at defensive end, play him at linebacker. He'll do a ton of stuff for us. Obviously, we have Riker O'Haley played a ton of quarterback for us, filling in last year as a sophomore, and did a great job with a lot of bodies in his face a lot of times. So
toughened him up.
No doubt it'd tough anyone up to take some of the shots that he took. So, and he's put on a ton of weight this offseason, worked his tail off. So we just have guys all over the board that have played a ton of snaps.
Nice.
This is the Drive Sports Animal EUG, the Sports Animal Audio Network. We're also live in Klamath Falls on KLAD AM 960 Sports, Fox Sports Newport, and in Roseburg starting next week. We got Ben Coosbay and Medford also going to join our family here on the Drive. Thanks for tuning in wherever and however, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We're live on the streams there, and also our audio network is streaming live at sportsanimal.eug.com. That's all our socials as well, Sports Animal EUG. So, Coach, you grew up and the side of the football you were on was the defensive side of the football, but you've been doing this a little while now as a head coach. So what have you learned about the offensive side of the football since you've been head coach?
Well, it's interesting. Well, I learned that I just handed over to Jordan and Marty Johnson that you guys got it. That's I'm smart enough to say, have at it, fellas. No, it's interesting because as a player, I played on both sides.
Yeah.
I played for Marty Johnson, who, in my opinion, is like the guy in my life that if he tells me to do something, I still do it, and
he's Yoda.
Even though you're his
he
boss
he
now.
absolutely
You're the boss.
is.
You're
Now,
his boss.
It's funny because we just refer to him as the boss. If I'm talking about Marty Johnson, I said, well,
That's
the
the
boss
boss.
said we should do this. But then I kind of fell into it. This is my 19th season coaching football.
I know.
It doesn't really seem possible.
Well, you're dating yourself too.
Dude, I started my freshman year of college, and I just kind of got thrown into running the defense. And then Lane Johnson, I've always been really close. And since 97, only two people have ran the defense at Sheldon, Lane Johnson and me.
Wow.
Which also doesn't seem, but that's a long time.
Yeah.
So it's cool. We have such a good staff that even though, I guess I'm in charge. I know I'm in charge, but we have such experienced coaches.
Just leave them alone?
Yeah.
That's what you've learned? Just leave them alone.
Leave them alone. Like Marty, Jord has 100% reign on our offense, and Scott Wright has 100% reign on our special teams, and I have 100% reign on our defense. So we have a staff that's been together so long that I don't have to go have all these coaches meetings to coach them up on what our game plan is. Say, hey, we're going to run this stuff this week, and everyone knows their responsibility, which makes my job really easy.
Wow.
Les Filippo takes care of the lines for you.
And he has forever.
Yeah.
I mean, Les Filippo's been around forever and is as good of an offensive and defensive line coach as there is. So I feel I'm blessed. I do it because of our staff, and obviously I have great kids, but if I'd have to work a lot harder if I didn't have these guys.
Well, what is it like to work with a group of people like that for so long and it's almost like a family? It has to be.
No, there's no doubt. And I mean, Scott Wright was my DB coach at Sheldon my senior year. Les Filippo was our offensive defensive line coach when I was playing. Jord obviously played with me, so I've known him my whole life. Marty was my head coach. So we have this staff that really cares about Sheldon football and cares about our kids, and we're all really tight knit. It's that family feel for sure.
And you put out some guys. We were just talking about the kicking at Oregon. Rocco Graziani's over there kicking. Ryan Walk, we were talking about. He got some props from Malik Terry. So you guys have been able to send on a few and have some connections and be able to watch playing in the college ranks.
For sure. And some kid named Tatum Tuioti's not bad either.
Not bad either.
Yeah, it's okay.
That Herbert guy did something.
Yeah, that Herbert
kid's okay too.
All the Herbert kids are okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Patrick as well. Yeah.
I joke with Market. Are you sure you guys don't have any
One
more kids coming along? The coaching those guys makes our job really easy.
Yeah. I mean, so you'd be able to, see guys and Sheldon's got a past history with Chris Miller and Todd Christensen and on like that, but you guys are really able to continue it on. Like, I mean, the two Iotis, they got any more coming either? Because they sent you a few
Daughters. And I don't think they're really good volleyball players.
So they're not going to make their way over.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but you guys have had some. I mean, that's the other part of it. You mentioned, I mean, the Strom family, There have been all sorts of families that have come through there and sent you guys 2, 3, 4 kids along the way, and most of them have turned out pretty good at the end and come back around to help you out too.
Yeah, we've had some good ones, and they all stay really, really connected and reach out. And it's that family mentality you're talking about that makes it fun. When guys come back in 5 or 10 years and down the road, and that's how you know you're successful, right?
Join your staff. Do you have any more recent guys that have joined the staff that played for you in recent years?
Got a couple. Guy named Peter Jager that I played with is coaching our JVs now. Dennis Ludwig was our JV coach for 57 straight years.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And Lud,
he's still on the sideline for you.
Still on the sideline, but said, "Hey Tyler, it's time for someone else to do this."
To run the JV.
And I said, "Lud, I don't want to hear that from you." So Peter Jager took over our JVs, which is really cool. Again, another Sheldon guy. Brought in another JV guy that was a Sheldon guy. So it's people are always like, you're always bringing all these Sheldon guys. Yeah, because I really trust them. They know what we're about.
Yeah.
Tyler Martell joins us. He is the leader of the Sheldon Irish football program and looking for and hunting for another state title to add to the trophy case, maybe build another extension to that trophy case in the hallway outside the gymnasium. And as we close things up, you talked about family, you touched on a lot of great things, but if you had to go sit in front of somebody who doesn't know anything about Sheldon High School, their history, or what it is now, how would you describe or how would you talk about your football team and what they are and what they want to be?
Well, they're really resilient, right? It would have been easy to fold up shop, right? So, and we talked a whole bunch about what do you want your story to be? You want to be the guys that were the continue of this downfall, or we had this little bump in the road and you guys recovered. So I think that, and I learned it from the boss, from Marty Johnson, that you can be a hard-nosed football team and you want to be, and you can kick a bunch of tail on Friday nights, but still be good guys. And that's what we stress about, doing the right thing and representing your family and your school and your community the right way. So those are things we talk about all the time, is just doing the right thing. We'll get after it on Friday nights and we'll win a ton of football games. We're going to be good dudes.
Seems like you got a feeling this team's got a chance to.
That's what I was going to ask. You guys feel pretty good?
Feels good. It's our guys. It's like we want to do more and more and more and more and more. So we were going 5 days a week in the morning during the spring, and it's like, hey, can we lift? Guys text me, hey, can you open the weight room before we go tonight? Like, yep, sure will. I'm not going to tell them no.
Yeah,
right. Well, Coach, best of luck. I know we're going to have you back. Best of luck this season. You've got a challenging schedule in front of you, and I know challenge breeds opportunity. And I know you guys are going to take advantage of it. So thanks for the time.
No, thanks for having me. It's really
Thanks
cool.
for coming in, man. Good to see you.
Always good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Tyler Martell, the head coach of the Sheldon football program. When we come back, the over-under on Oregon wins. Do you know what it is, Goose? What Vegas said?
10.5 or something?
10.5 is what Vegas says. We're going to talk about what a realistic expectation is for Oregon football when we return on The Drive, the Sports Animal Audio Network.
Nothing is too big for the sports animal to handle. That's what she said. You're home for me, Dan Patrick, 6 to 9 a.m. weekdays, and The Drive with Danny, Steve, and Justin from 3 to 6. This is the sports animal.
When you're in Rome, you visit the Colosseum. When you're in France, you visit the Eiffel Tower. And when you're in Eugene, you visit Cracktown Pizza, Eugene's best pizza and a Eugene cultural icon for over 40 years. Great pizza, growlers to go, and Tracktown Pizza delivers to all of Eugene and Springfield. Tracktown Pizza, the best pizza in town. Call 541-284-8484 or visit tracktownpizza.com.
Men like to get the most out of things. We expect results when we hit the gym, and we expect to finish our weekend to-do list. We also expect ourselves to never slow down, even when some things start to get a little harder. Low testosterone levels might be slowing you down. That's when Oregon Man Clinics step in. Sharpen your focus, regain energy levels, and improve your love life with treatment options tailored to you. Get the most out of being a man. Visit us online at our Springfield, Bend, and Albany locations.
Almost every car made over the last 10 years has a camera. Did you know that when you replace a windshield, the camera needs recalibrated? If your glass provider doesn't fix the camera, you could have issues with safety features like forward collision alert, adaptive cruise control, or emergency braking. Don't trust some guy in a truck to fix or replace your windshield and then have to make a second appointment to calibrate your camera. You need Olson's Auto Glass, 2041 West 7th Avenue in Eugene. Olson's Auto Glass, repairing windshields since 1938.
School sports are played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. So the next time you're sitting in the stands at a school athletic event, Please remember this and maintain your humanity, especially when it comes to judging and critiquing athletes, coaches, and officials. Please show your fellow humans some respect. They'll appreciate your empathy.
This message presented by the OSAA and the Oregon Athletic Directors Association.
In Oregon, we're taking a stand against hate crimes.
A stand for inclusion.
For acceptance.
Civility.
Unity.
With a new law, we're taking a stand against bias.
Against bigotry.
Prejudice. Homophobia.
Other phobia.
Against violence and intimidation.
Of any kind.
So we can make a real difference.
It's a stand for our future.
So no one has to be the victim of a hate crime.
Because we're all Oregonians.
And taking a stand
is what we do. Learn more at standagainst.hate.oregon.gov.
A message from the Oregon Department of Justice.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
1050 AM and 1029 FM and the sportsanimaleugene.com. Broadcasting from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
You missed any of our interview we just had with Tyler Martell, the head coach of Sheldon High School football. You can go back to the podcast and relive it right there. And also on the YouTube, the show will be up right away. You can watch us for the entire 3 hours or just that interview. Really good, really revealing as well. Sheldon Irish, optimistic, coming off of a down year last year. A lot of kids coming back. He said 10 starters one side of the ball, 9 starters on the other, or 9 kids returning. I don't know if they're all starters. But that was good. It was really good. And a good young guy. I'm still a young guy. Everybody's young as far as I'm concerned compared to me.
Honestly, it's the first time I met him in person, talked to him.
Yeah, I was just
about
telling
5 or 6
Goose that.
times.
You've
way
talked to him
younger
more than I have. But
expected.
yeah, that was really good. And of course, Goose knows everybody. So thanks for tuning in to the Sports Animal Audio Network. And you're listening to The Drive on KLID in Klamath Falls, AM 960 Sports, Fox Sports Newport, and of course here in the Valley on the Sports Animal, the originating station in the Emerald Valley. All right, boys, we did this yesterday with Oregon State. I'm looking at my watch. We got about 4 minutes here.
Yeah, we can do this.
Realistic expectations for Oregon football. Yesterday, we talked about the 4.5, which was the over-under on wins for Oregon State. And I think we all landed. Now, Goose was very optimistic, but you have a swing game. You were at 6, but you said the Montana game is going to be the one.
Could be a 4-game game.
But I think, Baby J, you and I were both around 5. Like we felt like a good solid 5, which I'm not teetering on, but I'm just trying not to have PTSD over last year where I said 8 or 9, and then they ended up, the way the season ended up. So you're still good with that, right? You're still good with that. You feel confident, all right? So here's the Vegas line for Oregon wins: 10.5. And I think there's some probably Oregon fans right now that are thinking that's low.
Yeah, well, they're number 2 in every poll. I keep seeing everybody who's discussing most talented teams in the country has like them, Ohio State, and Texas. So if you want to call it rat poison, call it what you want. But the reason the 10.5 is the way people are talking about them.
All right, so Baby J, you got to go last this when we talked about Oregon State. I'll only let you go first. 10.5.
I'm going to go over, but does this also include like any potential games?
No.
All regular
No.
I'm
It's
still
all
going
regular
over
season.
anyways.
Still going the over.
I'm still going over. I think they lose 1 game at most this year.
12 regular season games, right? Because the
Correct.
conference championships don't
Doesn't
matter as
count-
well. So
doesn't count
12 regular season games. So Goose, what do you think? Over? Right at it?
I think it's I mean, I'd go under just because I think that schedule is harder than people realize. When you have to
9
go
wins?
2
Or 10 wins?
10 wins.
You say it's 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I think Ohio State's going to be a really hard one, and then you add in if you lose the Ohio State game to get to 11. Now you have to win at USC, you have to win home against Washington, you have to win home against Michigan, you have to win at Illinois. That's a lot of games to not have an off day or an injury get in the way. So I would put mine at 10, but I can see them. I think 12 is realistic. I can see you getting there. I just think the schedule this year has more landmines than we've had in recent years.
Well, I think the scheduling doesn't do Oregon any favors this year, and it hasn't in the last couple of years. But I I was debating this in my head for a while, and I keep landing on 11 as the number.
It's a good number.
Which means that they're going to drop one somewhere. I think there's a landmine somewhere. But if the last few years of the college football playoff have shown us, it's not a death knell.
No, 10-2. 10-2, you're probably a top 6 seed in the playoff and feeling pretty good about yourself.
Get yourself in the tournament, and then you got a chance. You got a puncher's chance at it. So, all right. So I think we all agree that we're right at the number or just a little bit above. No. I mean, we all agree we're right at the number or a little bit above. No, Goose is hedging his bets and 10. But that's, we're right. It's not like he said 9.
That's fair.
Okay, so 10 or 11. That's where we're at. All right. When we come back, top of the next hour, Jamarcus Shepard, Oregon State coach. Is there a kerfuffle over a quote? Jason Quick at 4:20 and 30 seconds. And Akron football's ticket stunt. You're going to love this. I love this idea.
I do too.
When we return here on The Drive.
1050 AM, 1029 FM, and the SportsAnimalEugene.com. Other stations can say they cover the Ducks and Beavers, but we bring the receipts. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Summer, the sun, the sand. How could things be any better? Actually, you know what sounds kind of good? Chicken bones. Yeah, that would make things better. All you could eat wings.
I need our fans to get behind this football team. I'm letting you know, just so you know. Guys, there's going to be some adversity this year. I'm letting you know. Now I need you guys to help us get through that adversity. We got to do it together. And that, to me, is what I've seen from Oregon State University. That's what I've seen from Corvallis, okay? And I'm looking forward to them stepping up to the plate again. I saw it last year. These guys didn't have that great of a season last year, and the fans still showed up. And so I want to thank you in advance, for us all pulling together.
In with an attitude.
Yeah, no, I got it. No, that's yeah, I get it now. It's about, he's saying we're going to have adversity. I need the fans to stick with us. Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, we got it.
Meet your hobby needs. That's A&J Sports Cards, 1478 West 6th Avenue, 541-343-5561.
Wildfire season is coming. Are you ready? All it takes is one small ember to level a home. Reduce any fire hazards around your home and property to prevent an escaped fire from spreading out of control and to protect your home from an oncoming wildfire. It's called Defensible Space, and it works. Go to keeporegongreen.org to learn more.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew. So here we go. First day on the job. Got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
KORE Springfield, Eugene, 1050 AM. Translated on 275CX 1029 FM. This is the Sports Animal Eugene.
Welcome back to the Sports Animal Audio Network. This is The Drive. Thanks for tuning in. AM 960 Sports, KLAD, Klamath Falls, Fox Sports Newport, 92.7 FM, KNCU on the coast. Roseburg coming on Monday. Goose won't be here. Last show for Goose this week. He's going to break up the trio, the three amigos.
We're going to go back to the Danny
days.
and Justin show for 10 days, and then we'll reconvene on August 24th.
It'll be something like that.
We get a call from you or something at least?
No, don't
Probably.
bother. No, you don't have to call. I mean, I wouldn't mind if you called, but just, it's
get a little
family.
check.
When you get on a boys trip, that 4 o'clock, by the time 4 o'clock rolls around, I'm not sure you want me calling into a radio show.
I'm not expecting Goose to call in on the boys trip. And by the way, we'll be having Jason Quick in this hour, the erstwhile reporter, the senior writer for The Athletic, who covers the Blazers like a Snuggie.
And Goose's friend.
And Goose, one of the 6 degrees of separation of our friend and partner, Steve Mims.
He doesn't do much radio today. He does a weekly hit up in Portland on one of theirs, but I know he doesn't. He's not a hot take guy, so he doesn't love.
Well, he's perfect for us then.
Yeah. Well, I think he feels like sometimes you go on those things and they want to try to aggregate something you say. So I was a little hesitant to reach out to him because I know, but I said, hey, we're going to see each other next day anyway. I'll buy you a drink if you come on the show.
Oh, so you bribed him is what you did.
Pretty much.
Okay, well,
it
thanks.
takes to get a guy of his caliber on our little program.
Oh, look at that. Look at him. All right. Way to go, Goose. Way to work it.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do I.
It'll be fun.
Akron football season ticket stunt. Did you read what we put out there for you? There is actually...
I saw you gave
literature on. You got to read that. So that's going to be at the end of the hour. We're going to have a lot of Blazer talk near the bottom of the hour. Tyson Alger from Lookout Eugene Springfield, the I-5 Corridor podcast. That's more Timbers related, but he also does a few things on the side. So we'll talk to him about that. There is a secret practice for Colorado football. So this goes to the whole thing we've been talking about with some of the beat reporters for Oregon State, in terms of limiting the access for media to practices, which is becoming more and more prevalent. There are a couple of schools that are actually going the reverse and opening up more practices, those that might be punching up or need some PR help. But Oregon's been locking it down. Other topics we can talk about are the FCS and Power 4. Are there upsets still out there, or are they pretty much extinct? Can a South Dakota State come in and snatch a game from Alabama anymore? North Dakota State.
Happen?
No, I'm throwing it out there. I was going rando. Well, Appalachian State and Michigan. Okay, that's the one that everyone remembers.
Nick Saban lost his first game to somebody who was a team we would now look at as a have-not. But again, that wasn't a great Alabama team.
Not then. And then you put the big dumper back on here again. Cal Raleigh. You're trying to really we'll have to talk about it. Okay, yeah, you're right. I said we would, so we can. So your phone calls always welcome on the Sports Animal Audio Network. The Oregon Man Clinic's hotline is 541-844-3484. Toll free 877-844-3484. So just keep that in your phones. Just do a save on it, and then you can call us anytime you want. Also, you can comment on the stream at YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We'll read them or put them on the air. Okay, boys. So let's play this quote from Jamarcus Shepard, Oregon State University's new head football coach, and then let's comment on it. Let's hear it first.
I need our fans to get behind this football team. I'm letting you know, just so you know. Guys, there's going to be some adversity this year. I'm letting you know. Now I need you guys to help us get through that adversity. We got to do it together. And that, to me, is what I've seen from Oregon State University. That's what I've seen from Corvallis, okay? And I'm looking forward to them stepping up to the plate again. I saw it last year. These guys didn't have that great of a season last year, and the fans still showed up. And so I want to thank you in advance, for us all pulling together.
All right, I'm just going to start out. I'm going to dive in here head first. I have been a fan of Jamarcus Shepard since he landed in Corvallis. His energy, his enthusiasm, it's his first head coaching position. I know all of those things coming from a storied program at Alabama, and his resume is probably one of the better fits for a city and a program like Oregon State, because he's an up-and-coming coach, got all of that pedigree. However, Coach, the Oregon State fan base abandoned this team last year because it was a bad product on the field, and the administration did nothing to try and help the fans get re-engaged. I appreciate that enthusiasm. I fully accept the comment that you made about that he needs the fan base, and if you think there's going to be adversity, oh yeah, there's going to be adversity. But to say that the fan base stayed there with him, I mean, I don't know what he was reading or what he was drinking, Coach. The whole blueprint thing, it unraveled in a way that was it was disastrous for that program. Guys, I'll let you jump in here, but that's, again, I appreciate the plea to the fans. I think it's appropriate, but you got to win these. You got to win this fan base back in a big way from the start.
Yeah, again, anytime you fire you have embarrassing losses followed by special teams coaches fired midseason, followed by head coaches fired midseason. Fan base at that point is probably kind of sitting there thinking what's left to go there for. Plus, you're in an independent season with nothing really to play for anyway, and you're losing games. So I think he has a chance to. I think the message is, hey, okay, we're back in a conference now. We got something to play for. Yes, we're not going to go 12-0. We're going to play some teams that are going to be tough on our schedule. But if we do drop, and again, this is what I'm telling you about that Montana Bellwether game for me. If we drop the Montana game and we're 0-3, don't quit on us. Don't give up on us, because we've got a group that's going to be together. Again, last year, I think fans fracture when they feel like, what the heck is it worth to root for this team for? Because again, we just keep changing coaches and get rid of them. There's really not much left to play for, and we're not in a conference. So I get his messages, and he probably should have said, hey, let's, unlike last year, let's stick together, because now we have a long-term plan that's put together. And even if things struggle early on, we're not going to be firing coaches and getting rid of things. And we do have a conference to play for again.
It's one of those quotes too, where I feel like you almost have to watch him. It's like a fourth wall break where he's like talking to the audience. He's like, all right, guys, like this is really what's going to happen. And so I think it's interesting that he is saying there's going to be adversity. There's going to be times where it's not going to be so good. And we've talked about the first couple games for this team, Houston and Texas Tech. Like, that those are going to be losses, like almost certainly. And so I think that some of what he's saying is true. There is a level of like, okay, like there is going to be this, path that they're going to have to go on to get where they want to be. And it's not going to be the smooth sailing. But I'm with you. I mean, it wasn't a good season last year. It wasn't a fun season. It wasn't like a bad fun season. It was bad. It wasn't fun. It just was a total, you want to flip the script on it. So
it was a disaster. But the only thing I'm parsing out of what he said was he was saying that the fan base was there and they supported it and he saw it. They didn't. That's the whole thing. Is I could take everything else he said and go, yep, coach, that is exactly what you want to say, because he doesn't want to alienate the fan base. He's the new guy trying to rebuild the program. But to reach out to them and say, you were there for us last year through all this adversity, and I need you to stay there with us now, that was not the case. It wasn't, guys. We saw it. Well, we witnessed it. I have plenty of friends in my circle. I'm sure, Mims, in your wide circle, this 6 degrees of separation of Goose, Steve Mims, that have been lifelong Oregon State fans, season ticket holders. They abandoned that team in the last half of the season. They did not show up for anything.
After Sam Houston, it was over.
Right. So I'm just saying, coach, that's why, again, I'll follow it up with saying Jamarcus Shepard's the right guy at the right time for Oregon State to get them re-energized. Now the job's going to be, you've got to have the product on the field to back it up.
Yeah, and you got to have the product off the field to back it up. You can't have an administration that's, and again, there's a new AD in there as well. The guy who ran the blueprint is gone, so you've made all those changes. But yeah, you also, if you're failing on the field, you also can't have just sloppy missteps off the field that give your fan base even less reason for.
He could have said, "Listen, we lost you last year. I want to win you back."
Yeah,
that to me would have been the statement. I would have been like, "Yep, he's really getting it."
Right. That would have been the real look behind the fourth wall of like, yeah, we understand. Completely.
Yeah, but you run a risk there that some of the folks who didn't then are like, oh, the new guy comes in and act like I think his point is,
no, I get his
I'm
point.
going to stay positive on this thing, especially when he wasn't here. It would be hard to say you guys abandoned this. It's because you're going to get somebody who's going to come in and say, well, how do you know you weren't? So I think his point is just, hey, I'm going I'm going to keep it positive here, but just make sure I let you guys know that we are gonna hit some tough times, and we need you guys to stick with us.
Well, I think that what the discussion we had yesterday, and again, if you missed our discussion yesterday, go back to the podcast. I think the podcast.
It's been all fixed. I had some exporting issues yesterday. I got a text at 11:30 p.m.
I was up late, and I was actually emailing my wife at 5 a.m. because she was in the room with Wee Man because Abby was out of the house last night. So the kitten cannot sleep alone apparently, and he's not coming into our room. No, he will squeal all night long if he doesn't have a human presence with him. So
anyway, the podcast is up.
That's great. So you can go back and listen to our discussion on Oregon State football at Sports Animal EUG on all the social platforms, and of course on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. So guys, I mean, I am going to be, again, cautiously optimistic about Oregon State football in this coming year. I think the first 2 games are going to be bloody, but then I think that, and I'm with you, Goose, I think the mettle of that team is going to be in week 3 against Montana. If they show me something in that game, I mean, even a spark of life, make it competitive, and hopefully win that game, then I think there's a really good opportunity for them to be on the upward arc and stay on that upward arc. Because it's like, you know, you can roll it downhill or you can roll it uphill. If you start getting that momentum, I mean, things start breaking your way, then that just like is a lightning, and that's a fire that can just start sweeping through the team.
Yeah, and part of that is, you know, again, in the old Pac-12, even if you got off to a good start, you knew that schedule somewhere down the road. There was an Oregon, there was a USC, and there was some of that. This year, those 2 were at the top, and there was a Boise State down there. But like you say, if you survived the first 2 and beat Montana, suddenly you can look at the schedule and say, hey, maybe at least until Boise State, why can't we win every one of these? And there's no longer where the fan base looks and says, oh, this is good, but boy, we've got 3 top 25 teams down the road. You get those out of the way early, and there's a chance to, like I say, keep the group together, a chance to get to that 6 wins that I think they can get to.
So, and that would be a bowl game. That'd be bowl eligible.
That'd be a great result for this team. Dare I say the entire season rests upon the right arm of Malik Murphy and what he can do?
I hope not.
I think it might. I mean,
I don't know. They're
Brady
gonna
Atkinson,
a lot more than that.
I'm just saying that if there is a scenario where they have a really good season, a season where they reach above their expectations, above our expectations, I think it's going to have to be the scenario where Malik Murphy turns it around. He's the only guy that has, like, I wouldn't call him like a blue chip talent, but his talent is probably higher than anybody else on the team in terms of what he could do.
So the highest rated recruit coming out of high school.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So was he just in the wrong system? He's in a great system in Duke, and then when he came out to Corvallis, it was like, this is not working for me on any level.
I don't know. I think this is one of those things where there's stuff
I think that's
we
what
can't
it was.
find out as a public and as journalists and media. Like, we're not going to know exactly what went on there. But if he can figure it out, I think that he could be a really good player.
Well, and he started at Texas and came in as a true freshman, and they had talent there above him. He goes to Duke. Duke clearly wanted Darian Mensah to come in that next year, so he was kind of pushed out because they had the opportunity for Mensah. And then, as we talked about, he was at a really program last year that was just kind of dysfunctional. So in your first year, and you had a defensive coach,
Rice State, bad situation.
Yeah, it was just so it's sort of been in some bad situations, but now you find out from him, does he been beaten down? Does he feel like, hey, this is my year? Or is he like, man, let's just get to the end of this thing, and I came back for another paycheck because I'm going to make more playing college football than if I had gone into the real world. We'll see kind of where his motivation lies.
Well, it's going to be interesting how they unravel what happened last year to Malik Murphy, and some of it was probably self-inflicted, but a lot of it probably was the situation. So it will be interesting to see how that unravels and how quickly it does. I think if Oregon State's going to have success this year, it's going to be not relying on one player. It's going to be relying on 5 or 6 different players on the offensive side, all in the skill positions. That line is probably one of the most veteran groups that they've got on either side of the football. So I think that's where the foundation starts on their offense. Defensively, they're going to have to fly around. They're going to have to take chances. They're going to have to be aggressive. And if they can do those things, and I think that's what they're pointing towards, I think Mike McIntyre is going to absolutely do that. I think he's going to have some stuff. The old ball coach is going to have some tricks up his sleeve. This could be a fun year in Corvallis, but it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good the first couple of weeks. And I think here's the thing. That fan base also is smart enough to know that it's not going to be good the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, and maybe Houston's good, but hey,
They
if
were
you get
competitive
something
with them
together,
last year.
Yeah, maybe you can go down there and keep it within 10, and Texas Tech have a new quarterback, and maybe Texas Tech takes you lightly, and maybe that's a 30-20 game. Maybe we end up in a spot to where they're, we keep talking about these potential bloodbaths. Maybe let's wait and see, I guess. But
well, you're the one that said bloodbath.
I know, and I'm not back there. I'm just saying. We kind of sometimes look at the schedule and we pick like we know the score. Maybe they look a little better in those two, and then they get that Montana one, and then like I say, you look down the road and think, hey, it's coming your way.
One of Goose's dearest friends is going to be on the program. He twisted arms. I think there was probably some bribery that went on. The great Jason Quick makes his inaugural appearance on The Drive here on the Sports Animal Audio Network.
Don't change the channel. Your radio might explode. Okay, not really. But you miss a minute of The Drive, you might miss something, well, spectacular.
On we go.
The Drive is back on 102.9 FM and 1050 AM. The Sports Animal.
Yeah. Can you pass me a Baja?
A what?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Try it. It's tropical at first. Then the lime flavor hits.
Oh, okay. It's crisp. Tastes like vacation.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it's mine now.
Have a Baja Blast.
Enjoy cool savings on Mountain Dew fountain drinks all summer long. Any size for just $1.50 at participating convenience stores.
We live and work right here in Eugene, so we understand what matters most: family, community, and the confidence of having a plan that fits your life. Your Eugene area Edward Jones advisors get to know you, your goals, your family, and what feeling secure means to you. Together, we'll help you make sense of your financial picture so you can move forward with clarity and confidence. Your Eugene area Edward Jones advisors. Let's start the conversation. To locate the Edward Jones financial advisor nearest you, visit edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Man, I loved playing high school sports growing up. And it's fun being a fan now, don't get me wrong, but sitting in the stands feels like I'm missing out on all the action, I wanted to get back in the game. So I signed up to be a high school official. It takes me back to my playing days. I'm supporting students, and I get paid to make the big calls. Do you want to see the game up close? Sign up to become an official in Oregon at highschoolofficials.com.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it'll take years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 10 million people without destroying your credit. They can reduce your interest rates, lower your total payments up to 50% to get you out of debt fast. For a free consultation, call Consolidated Credit now. The program works.
Call 800-499-4107. 800-499-4107. 800-499-4107.
Consolidated Credit Solutions Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33313. Licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Kansas CSO 0019051. Maryland DM 1492. Oregon DM 892. Licensed by the Virginia State Corporation Commission, license number TC83. Service may adversely affect the individual's credit. Non-payment of debt may lead to additional finance charges or collections activity, including legal action. Actual interest rates, length of program, and monthly payment reductions will vary by consumer and creditor. Yours could be higher or lower. Not a loan company. We do not lend money.
Sometimes they're right.
Rest my case.
Sometimes they're wrong.
You want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
But no ears were harmed in the making of their disagreements.
I don't know what we're yelling about.
You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Thanks for giving us a little time, friends, here on The Drive, Sports Animal Audio Network. We're live in Klamath Falls, in Newport, as well as here in Eugene. Adding on a few more stations next week. We'll be on in Roseburg as well. Eventually in Bend, Medford, and Coos. Coos Bay, North Bend. This is The Drive, and we're on all the socials at sportsanimalEUG.com. Let's head on over to the Oregon Man Clinics hotline and welcome in first-time guest and a longtime friend of our very own Goose, Steve Mims. It is the senior writer from The Athletic. It's Jason Quick. Jason, thanks for giving us a few moments today.
I will do anything for Steve.
Well, I heard there was some bribery, not extortion, that went into this.
Not at all. Not at all.
So we're going to dive into the whole, the Moda Center and everything you've been covering there. But give us a little bit of your background for those that might not be familiar with you, with our listening audience. You've got 25 plus years. You work for the Oregonian. You work for NBC Sports Northwest. You've now worked for The Athletic. So, I mean, you've seen a lot in your day. So, I mean, this last 4 months with the Blazers, is this something that has just been bizarro world for you?
Yeah, a little bit. I think this is the third biggest story in the history of the Blazers. One, them being founded, two, them winning the championship, and three, them poised with this battle between the city, county, and the team. So I don't know if I'm willing to go as far as to say they're in danger of leaving. I'm not ready to go there quite yet, but the way they are acting certainly doesn't say that this is a team that wants to stay. And it might just be a hard bargaining line that they're drawing. But, I think after Wednesday's vote, tomorrow's vote, which I expect to pass in the city council, then it's going to be 4 months of negotiating between the city and the team. And how they show up to those negotiations will tell us a lot about what the Blazers' intentions are. If they really want to sign a deal and stay in Portland, or if really their ulterior motive throughout this whole process has been to leave Portland. Because for the last 3-4 months, they have not been conducting themselves in good faith. They're not answering calls from the city. They're not providing documents. And they're taking this attitude that they're getting the raw end of a deal when the public's giving them $580 some million. So it's going to be interesting to see how they show up to the negotiating table here in the coming months.
So you've already stated here in what you just said that you expect that the Portland City Council, which is the last governmental agency that will, be technically, I'm doing air quotes, approve the funding for the Moda Center, but this is still just a term sheet. So can you explain to us in layman terms that this isn't like finalizing a deal? This is like really at still the beginning of getting all the entities together, correct?
Very much so. This is just the start. And what these term sheets and what these votes have done is provide a framework for their negotiating. It's a negotiating starting point. And so they have all these terms that they want. They're basically listing, this is what we want to see in the next arena lease. These are the deals. We want you to pay $3 million. We want you to hire union workers, stuff like that. And then the Blazers are going to counter with, we don't want you taking 6% of every ticket and every parking fee. We want you to staff more police at the games and help direct traffic in and out of the arena. So it's going to be a bunch of back and forth like that. But basically, it boils down to the Blazers want a better deal. They feel like they're losing money, and they feel like the current lease agreement is preventing them from being a better business.
Hi, Jason. Longtime fan of your work. It's nice to get a chance to chat with you.
Oh, brother. I'm going to put you guys in a room together. That's probably going to happen this weekend, but whatever.
Yeah. I felt like when I read your intro column on Dundon, when you were there for his first game, it wasn't normally the owner comes in and at least right away is like happy to be here. It felt like kind of from the start, he wanted to make it known, and you did your job as a reporter and kind of questioned him on some of these issues that have bubbled up later right away. He kind of right away was like, I'm not going to come in here and try to put on a happy face. This is kind of who I am, and I'm going to present, I don't know if you'd call it arrogant or maybe some words that we can't use on radio to describe him, but seems like right away he was that guy. This is who he is.
No question. And I could tell from day one that he doesn't give a lick about Portland. He just doesn't. He views this as a business opportunity. As one person in the Blazers said, he didn't buy the Portland Trailblazers. He bought 1/30th of the NBA. He looks at the NBA as a good business, and he had a chance to get into it. He doesn't care about the Portland history and the connection with the community and, helping like the Boys and Girls Club and all that. I'm not saying he won't, but it's not a passion project for him. It's a make money project for him.
And you talked about how it's almost like a business venture for him. It's something we've been talking about on the show, and Steve has done a good job educating me, because it's really frustrating to watch these sports franchises be run like business ventures. Is this just the new reality of the way that professional sports are going to work, or is this really specific to Tom Dundon?
No, I mean, it's kind of a trend. And look, most NBA teams lose money just because it costs a lot to run an NBA team, starting with NBA player salaries. And then you throw in the travel and all the bells and whistles you see at games. All that stuff costs money. And I think he has come in and said, we don't need all those frills. All the frills will be cut and then siphoned into the actual team. And we have yet to see whether that bears true, because he's only had really one cycle of player acquisitions. And they had an opportunity to use their mid-level exception, which is a $15 million pay slot, and they didn't use it this summer. So I can call a little BS on him already with, all my money's going to go into improving the roster. And if there's ever a time for this team to, quote unquote, go for it, I don't know about going for a championship, but, going for that next major step, it seems like they're on that precipice, and getting a $15 million player could help push them into that realm where you're talking about maybe hosting a first round playoff series. But he opted not to do that. And I don't know if that was a Dundon decision or if it was a Joe Cronin decision or what, but they certainly had the opportunity to pour money into this roster this summer, and they really didn't.
Jason, your initial stories with Micah Norrie seem very much the opposite of Dundon, whereas Dundon kind of came off as one way. I thought Norrie's come off really, for a guy who's kind of been pelted by the national media for taking this one-year deal, he's come off as pretty confident in himself, and as a guy who's, does enjoy being in Portland and really looking at this as his opportunity. What's been your takeaways from your conversations you've had with him early on?
I love him, and I think the public is going to totally embrace him. He's a dude's dude. He doesn't talk down to people. He likes to laugh. He's very self-deprecating, and he knows how to talk basketball and basketball ideas and put them in very simple terms that your mom or grandma can understand. And I think he's going to be a lot of fun. I think he's really smart. He's really sharp. He's innovative. I think the players are going to like him. That was kind of his secret sauce as I talked to a bunch of coaches that he was on their staff, and they all just said that the players loved him. He has a way of relating to them and getting to them and having them trust him. So I think that's going to be really an important skill. We've already seen that with Ja Morant. One of his first things he did was have lunch with Morant in South Carolina, and it was just basically, hey, we're here for you, and we want the best version of you. And I just thought that was really smart. And then after that, he flew to Los Angeles to meet with Drew Holiday. And, Drew Holiday's probably sitting there going, what? We got another point guard? That's 4 point guards. But
So
Micah wanted to calm that right away in face to face, and say, look, I value you. I'm going to play you. I think you can play point guard, shooting guard, small forward. You're too good not to play. You're a big part of this. So that's his kind of way he operates. He believes in face-to-face communication. He believes in communication. And believe it or not, in the NBA, a lot of teams break down because there's not good communication. Head coaches hate confrontation because they know that they have the playing power, but if there's a confrontation, likely the coach is going to be gone before the player. So they just kind of avoid over communicating because it can often lead, players don't like hearing things they don't want to hear. Mike is the exact opposite way. He's like, let's get this all out in front and talk about it so there's not any festering problems. So I think people are really going to like him. And besides all his personality strengths, he's just a really sharp basketball mind. And everybody who has coached with him just raves about how smart he is and how innovative he is, particularly on the offensive side.
He's covered the Blazers for over 2 decades. You can follow him on the socials, JW Quick. He joins us. It's Jason Quick here on The Drive on the Sports Animal Audio Network. He's been a friend of Steve Mims since 1998, working at the Oregonian, and he also regularly takes care of business against Goose in fantasy football every single year.
That part of it. I did not write that part of it.
I added that. That's editorial comment. He gave me some notes.
Wait a minute. Where's this Goose coming from?
That's his nickname. You got to call him that this weekend. Yeah, I gave him that nickname like literally 2 days after I met him on this show. Steve and I have known each other for a long time as well. I go back to doing play-by-play and working a local radio back in the 2000s. That's where Steve and I, when he was on the high school beat, that's where he and I hooked up a long time ago.
But where does Goose derive from?
That comes from the Top Gun series. So he's Goose. Yeah, and Goose died, I know. But no, he's alive for us.
I'm not going to hear the end of this one.
I gave you some ammo, Jason. See?
I don't know if that's going to stick with our group.
Probably not. We'll talk about your group in a second. So I want to stay on the team, Jason, because obviously there was a ton of distractions at the beginning of last year with Chauncey Billups. One day into the tenure, and Tiago Splitter has to step in. Then there's a sale in the middle of the season. Kind of an absentee owner with Jody Allen. I mean, she was just caretaking it before she was going to hand it off to someone else through the trust. So I guess with all the other off the court stuff that's going on, it seems to me that the players and the staff that are on the floor can seem to insulate themselves from all of that. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think so. Certainly there was a lot of distractions last year. I mean, even, it's a shame. My whole thing with Dundon is this. No matter what happens, he finds a way of making it about him. Mm-hmm. So the most frustrating thing last year was, the team's in the play-in game. They're going down to Phoenix and have this big opportunity. And he makes everyone check out early, and that becomes the story. Yeah. Then they make the playoffs and are going to San Antonio, and he doesn't bring the two-way players. He, again, becomes the story. I think that's when it wears on the team, is when, hey, we're doing great things here, and everyone's talking about this owner, So I think if Dundon continues to make the story about himself, then I think it can seep into this roster, and it can become not a good thing. But generally, NBA players, you've heard this a million times, basketball is their sanctuary. Getting on the court, they get away from everything, and it's what they get paid millions and millions of dollars to do, and they love doing it. So I think it's easy for them to kind of disconnect from the noise outside and get in and practice. And this is a really solid group of people. There's no DeAndre Ayton goofballs on this roster. Drew Holiday is very serious. Damian Lillard's serious. Denny Avia is a professional. Tumani is, for a young kid, has incredible leadership qualities. Klingen's a good kid. Scoot cares so much about basketball. They're really good people on this roster, and I think that helps with that focus and kind of singular thinking to, we have a task at hand.
Considering they didn't have to give up much, did you see Ja Morant deal is worth it, especially saying kind of with his baggage from the past, all in the past, but coming into a good group? Is that a good spot because these guys can kind of be a good fit for him, or would you have done it?
I would have done it, yes.
Okay.
They're better. They're better after that transaction. Jeremy Grant was I like Jeremy so much as a person, but as a player, he was whatever. And he was grossly overpaid. It was one of the worst contracts in the NBA. And Chris Murray he's probably going to be out of the league in a couple of years. So when you get the potential upside of Ja Morant, who for a time was one of the marquee players in the NBA, I think you got to take that risk. And I love players who are at this point in their career where it's like put up or shut up. And I think he knows that he doesn't have very many more chances to return to that level of play, both from age, injuries, and just his history. He doesn't have very many more chances. So I love the position he's in of, trying to prove something. I think it's a beautiful story arc, and I'm really excited to see how it plays out.
Well, you're taking Goose away from us for a few days, and I know Goose won't stick up there, but please use it every time you can and drop it wherever you want, especially when he shanks one or hooks one into you're playing the link, so you're not going to get in too much trouble. I know you guys are getting together at what you guys call the Jake. It's in honor of one of your friends, Jake Panowich, who passed away in 2019 of cancer. And you guys are playing out at Gerhardt this weekend. So I know that's special and near and dear. You guys have a tight group of friends that get together. It's special to you, isn't it?
Oh, it's my favorite weekend of the year, without question. I love every guy there, and I think each year it gets better, except for the fact that your co-host has won the tournament 3 times. Shockingly.
No.
How many times has he mentioned that?
No, he hasn't mentioned it at all, but you don't know. He almost killed me on the golf course. It's one of our drops. He whizzed the ball right past me. Now, I knew I should have not stayed in the fairway because that was the safest spot to be, but he whizzed one right past my head.
Well, see, that's the thing. He's horrible. And he's won it 3 times. And has he told you guys? Has he filled you guys in on the Texas wedge?
No, let's hear it. I want to hear it from you, though.
So Mims,
gotcha.
At Gerhardt, he'll be, 86 yards out, and he'll putt it.
That sounds like Goose. Yep, absolutely does.
And it works, and it just
aggravating. Maddening?
A little bit. But everyone's like, God, I think I should try it. And then nobody else can replicate it. So he calls it the Texas wedge, and it's won him 3 titles.
All right, so here's the thing. I think, Jason, that's more of a reflection on your group than it is an admiration of Steve's golf prowess.
We have some really, really good golfers in our group.
You need a high handicap. I take advantage of the high handicap.
There you go.
But now I won't get that high handicap anymore.
Hey, Jason, I hope you come back. Great fun today, and absolutely stellar information for the listeners. We appreciate your time and the way you cover the team.
You bet. I'll come on anytime.
Attaboy. See
Thanks, bud. Love you. See you tomorrow.
All right. We'll see you. Bye.
There he goes, the great Jason Quick. Quick break. We're going to analyze a couple of things, a couple of comments. I made a couple of notes from what Jason just said. I think there's some interesting nuggets in there that Mr. Quick gave us. And then as we get to the top of the hour, the Akron football season ticket stunt. It's a pretty ingenious idea from Joe Moorhead, former Oregon assistant, when we come back here on The Drive, the Sports Animal Audio Network.
Nothing is too big for the sports animal to handle. That's what she said. You're home for me, Dan Patrick, 6 to 9 a.m. weekdays, and The Drive with Danny, Steve, and Justin from 3 to 6. This is the Sports Animal.
CCB number 195698. JT Bailey here, owner-operator of All County Garage Door. Eugene Springfield's independent and locally owned garage door experts. Looking to upgrade your home's curb appeal, thermal efficiency, safety, and security? A new garage door checks all those boxes, and All County Garage Door is here to help. From new doors, new operators, and any and all garage door operator repair, we have you covered. And with a 15-year reputation of top quality work and top-notch customer service, you can count on us. Give us a call at 541-521-8986 or visit us at allcountygaragedoor.com.
I've seen it. I've covered it. I'm Alex Rogers, your local farmer's agent in West Eugene. When you need auto, home, life, or business insurance, Farmers can help you protect everything you've worked so hard to achieve. I really enjoy what I do, and I can help you understand all your coverage options. When I'm your farmer's agent, you're not stuck at the mercy of some computer. I'm your advocate when you need help. Visit my office today at 1154 Garfield Street here in Eugene, or give me a call at 541-284-2804.
A college security officer called to tell me there was a drinking party on campus. The officer said there had been excessive drinking, and our son was in the hospital for alcohol poisoning. He said my husband and I should come as soon as we could. I knew my son would face distractions and temptations when he went away to school. He already had unfortunate experiences with alcohol, and he was a little too good at fitting in with the crowd. I had no idea things could get so much worse so fast. A nurse suggested we attend Al-Anon family groups. Even though our son claimed his drinking was no big deal, he said he was not an alcoholic and that he could quit whenever he wanted. I didn't want to go to an Al-Anon meeting, but I'm sure glad I went. If someone's drinking troubling you, you might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
Imagine what it's like to be active your whole life and then find out you're going blind. That's what happened to me. I have age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. As a wife, mother, and grandmother, my sight is precious to me. What a relief when I found out that treatments for some forms of AMD are available and that research is underway on additional preventions and treatments. AMD is the leading cause of vision loss in people 55 and over. When I started seeing blurry spots in the middle of my eye, I saw my doctor. She suggested I review the prevention and treatment information on fightblindness.org. Did you know that some forms of AMD can be slowed down or stopped, and in some cases reversed if found in time? Get more information about preserving your vision. Call the Foundation Fighting Blindness today at 1-800-BLINDNESS for a free packet on reversing or managing AMD, or go to the website where I found so much helpful information, fightblindness.org, 1-800-BLINDNESS, 1-800-254-6363, or fightblindness.org.
1050 AM and 1029 FM and the sportsanimaleugene.com. Broadcasting from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Hope you're enjoying the program, friends. Here on the Sports Animal Audio.
I'm not going to live this one down. I think my weekend might have just been ruined.
I'm reading a text from Jason Quick, who was just on our program from The Athletic. We talked a lot of Blazers with the Scribe, and he's going to a golf tournament with our friend Goose, our dear friend, our dear co-host Goose, and they're going out to the Jake Panowich, the Jake, they call it, that's what they call it, the Jake Panowich, in honor of a friend that passed away in 2019. And they're playing golf in Gearhart, and I think Jason was shocked that we called you Goose, and now there is a text stream going where Goose this, Goose that. Steve is not, he's never going to forgive me that I called him that on the air, and now Jason's got it.
Keep something secret in our little radio bubble down here without having.
If he goes on the social media, he's going to see us. It's not a secret.
I tagged him, so
that's true.
You'll see it eventually.
AM 960 Sports KLAD in Klamath Falls, Fox Sports Newport in the Valley on 102.9, 1050 AM, Sports Animal. Thanks for tuning into The Drive. Coming up top of the hour, Tyson Alger. Next segment, we're going to talk about this Akron football season ticket stunt. Part of the reason why we love college football, and Joe Moorhead at the tip of that spear. If you miss any of the Jason Quick interview, I say this to you all the time. Please go back to the podcast or the stream and watch it and listen to it. That was great information. You know, the biggest thing I took away from that is not surprising to me is Tom Dundon can always spin the narrative back to himself.
Yeah. Quick's good because he's not afraid. He's been around it enough. He's fought enough battles with the Blazers. He's not one of these media people who's going to spin everything their way or who's afraid to say something. Some of those things he said there, just really good journalists, would be afraid to because they were going to lose access or this and that. Quick's gained and lost access to the Blazers 20 times over the years.
25 years he's been doing it, right? Yeah.
This player does, and then he's back in and he's well known and well respected enough out there that he's got that, but he's always very honest. I thought that was really interesting stuff when he talked about how great Mike Nori was, how much he liked him, thought it was interesting how in on the John Morant trade he was, because again, Quick knows kind of what that locker room's like. And for him to feel like, hey, this is a guy who can be welcomed by a really good locker room and kind of a last chance deal. And yeah, when he said that, basically said that Tom Dundon was basically lying by saying that he was going to spend everything he could on the team and then not fill in the mid-level exception. So really good stuff there that I hope folks appreciate.
I know I'll bring you in here, Baby J, but one other thing was when I asked him the question about, the insulation that a player and a coaching staff can have, because it seemed like there was a ton of distractions off the floor. And yeah, there were ebbs and flows in the season last year, but they were a playoff team and they got a number 7 seed. That hasn't been happening for a long time. And yet there is a possibility that there is going to be more angst because of the way the ownership is this year rather than last year's distraction. I mean, you lose your coach on day one to a scandal.
Yeah.
And it's still working through the court system, and you end up still having a winning season.
Yeah. No, and that's part of the unfortunate part of it. This would have been a fun off season if we had been able to say, hey, let's talk about on the court, because this is a team that we're not tanking anymore. They're finally ready to take the next step. But let's see what the callers think.
All right. So on the Oregon Man Clinics hotline at 541-844-3484, also toll free 877-844-3484. It's our good friend Brad. Brad, what up?
Hey, I just wanted to call and say I really enjoyed that interview. I have loved Jason Quick's work since back in the day when he did the Behind the Locker Room Door series. Yep. That was like I had to read every time it came out, and back in the day when we still had papers.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved having the crinkle of the paper in my hand. So, I mean, again, I think the Dundon narrative is not going to go away. It's not. He's the owner. So now, do you think the Blazers leave now after hearing that? Do you think the Blazers leave?
It doesn't make me very hopeful, that's for sure. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens with the council. I hope that it's as much a negotiation as some people think it is, but the more this goes, just the more I'm really disliking Dundon, and I mean, I lived through the Daniel Snyder years as a Redskins owner.
We talked about that, yeah.
I just I have no patience for a crappy owner.
Well, it's one he's dissing the fans. He has no connection to the fans whatsoever, nor cares to, apparently. It's just like that's not in his circle.
He bought the wrong franchise to do this to. I will say that Portland loves its Blazers.
That's true.
It's going to be interesting to see how it actually comes down.
Yeah, well, we'll be watching it on the sidelines. We're not in the negotiating room. And whatever the council, city governments, county governments, state governments do, it's still going to have to be something that Tom Dundon's group signs off on. And he seems to be extremely reticent to even sit down and have a face-to-face negotiation. So maybe that changes. I mean, we can always live in hope, Brad. We can always live in hope.
Totally. Still crickets on the broadcasting thing?
I will have an announcement on Friday.
Okay.
Don't know if you're going to like it or not, but I'm going to have an announcement on Friday.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Brad. Brad. Oh, Brad. All right. We covered it up. Thanks, bud. Take care.
All right.
See you. Bye. Okay, we got to get that dump button working.
I tried. We had a meeting about this earlier.
Well, you just asked me where it was, and I said it wasn't hooked up yet. So, all right, all right. You want to have a comment on Jason Quick, and I'm going to go in there and look at the dump button. I'm going to get my license revoked. That's twice now.
I had Quick as the heavy favorite for most likely to swear on today's show. I did not have Brad on my bingo card.
So what stuck out to me about that interview was like you said about John Morant. I was surprised that he was as in on John Morant, but his reasoning makes sense. The other thing that stuck out to me was the fact that he felt like they weren't even negotiating in good faith, not returning phone calls, like that kind of thing. I didn't even really know about that, to be honest with you. I'm not surprised necessarily, but that's the kind of thing that just really makes you it just makes you upset, right? Because even if you're going to not want the team there, like just treating people like not respectfully is something that just really bothers me. And it just seems like Tom Dundon doesn't have, like, he's not the kind of guy that if you're going to meet him on the street, like you wouldn't want to talk to this guy. You wouldn't want this guy to be your friend. Like, I don't know. I don't get it.
All right, let's take a break. We will take a break. And when we come back, there is a story that's been floating around. And apparently, Goose, you saw this before. Beebs brought this up to us as well. There is an idea that has taken root and has now expanded in the MAC of all places. Akron, the Zips, Joe Moorhead. Everybody who follows Oregon football knows that name. You buy a season ticket, you get something special in Akron. You get a chance, man. We're going to talk about it next here on The Drive.
1050 AM, 1029 FM, and the sportsanimaleugene.com. Other stations can say they cover the Ducks and Beavers, but we bring the receipts. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Hi, this is Drew from Dalton Carpet on West 11th in Eugene. Dalton Carpet is family owned and operated and proud to serve you for 30 years. Now more than ever, someone you know is walking on a Dalton floor. Do you have a flooring project? Get your summer off to a new start. Lane County's best selection with hundreds of rolls of carpet and thousands of feet of click-together flooring on display and in stock right now at unbeatable prices. Come see us today at Dalton Carpet, right here on West 11th in Eugene.
Almost every car made over the last 10 years has a camera. Did you know that when you replace a windshield, the camera needs recalibrated? If your glass provider doesn't fix the camera, you can have issues with safety features like forward collision alert, adaptive cruise control, or emergency braking. Don't trust some guy in a truck to fix or replace your windshield and then have to make a second appointment to calibrate your camera. You need Olson's Auto Glass, 2041 West 7th Avenue in Eugene. Olson's Auto Glass, repairing windshields since 1938.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I'm a wife and the mother of 2 kids, and I've got a good job.
Bye, Mom. See you, Mom.
A pretty important job. Because of my family and my job, I really care about this neighborhood. It's a good neighborhood. Yes, there's some crime. And when I drive to work, like now, I realize that some people here don't trust the police. So the police should be reaching out to this community, and this community should reach out to the police. That's the way to make this a safer place. And when I get to work in the precinct house and put on my uniform, I can tell you as a police officer that this department is reaching out to the community and the community is doing its part. We're building partnerships. This should be happening everywhere. This is how we can all be safer. Get involved. Start the conversation.
Start the conversation and help stop crime. To learn the 5 things you can do, go to ncpc.org/prevent violent crime. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Don't change the channel. Your radio might explode. Okay, not real, but you miss a minute of the drive, you might miss something, well, spectacular.
On we go.
The Drive is back on 102.9 FM and 1050 AM. The Sports Animal.
All right, well, we've had a lot of excitement on the radio program today.
Just another day on the drive.
Thanks for hanging in, at least for now, with Sports Animal EUG, Sports
While we're
Animal
on the air.
Audio Network. Yeah, who knows how long we're going to be here. So I apologize to our affiliates. Hopefully it didn't come across that loud. We'll see. I'm not going to mention it again now. I'm done. Poor Goose is going to have a long weekend now.
I'm getting memes of geese and gooses and goose, and it's It's Quick has started the group check, and it's all on now.
Well, you know what they're trying to do? They're just trying to rattle you, man.
I
So you
know.
lose. That's all. They're trying to get up in your head. Don't let them get up in your head.
2-time defending champ over here. I didn't even mention.
So you won
guys
it
'cause
3 times.
3 of the 6. I have won 3 of the 6.
And a 2-time defending champ.
2-time defending champ.
Okay.
Much vitriol.
Yes. That's what.
Yes, there is.
There are at least 4 golfers in this group that are much better than me, but I come in with the handicap and horses for courses. For some reason, that course is good to me.
All right, so really quick, one lucky Akron football season ticket holder will get to call plays in the opening drive of the college football game for Akron. It's a publicity stunt, but it's working. They announced that they're doing a promotion. Every season ticket holder entered into a raffle. Top prize, you get to play offensive coordinator for the first series against Robert Morris on September 12th. John Gruden bought season tickets for this just so he gets a chance. If they pull his name out of the hat, there are going to be people screaming bloody murder.
Well, I told you.
What do you think of it?
Pokey Allen did stuff like this up at Portland State, and it was great. I feel like Oregon State did it in a spring game recently where they had a thing maybe 10, 15 years ago. Where
But that's
it was
a spring game. It's not a real
game.
game.
Exactly. So
interesting. All right, top of the hour.
Give me 3 plays. I run a draw 3 times.
Yes. They boo you out of that
belly series, not with Joe Moorhead's offense. He's the head coach, by the way. People remember him at Oregon, offensive coordinator for a half second. All right, back on the program with Tyson Alger, top of the hour from the I-5 corridor and Lookout Eugene Springfield. He will join us next here on The Drive. Hank.
Sometimes they're right.
Rest my case.
Sometimes they're wrong.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
But no ears were harmed in the making of their disagreements.
I don't know what we're yelling about.
You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Sports fans, you know weekends belong to sports. And Fox has more sports than any other broadcast station. From NFL to UFL, MLB to MLS. Plus the best in college football and Big Noon Saturday. The best in sports, only on Fox.
Get your news, get your weather and sports, and get to bed. Fox 34 News at 10, Western Oregon's only 10 o'clock news.
The plans you have for your property need the right equipment. Kubota has reliable tractors, utility vehicles, and mowers to help you make the most of your land, along with strong dealer support. Stop by today to explore our lineup. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0% financing or save up to $3,500, plus a first-year K-maintenance service on us. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com/disclaimers for full disclaimer.
Mid-Valley Tractor in Eugene. 40 years, family-owned. Find them at midvalleytractor.com.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it'll take years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 10 million people without destroying your...
So I'll just see Tyson in here when he shows up because he's doing video. Oh, all right, thanks. All right, thanks.
Call 800-499-4107. 800-499-4107. 800-499-4107.
Consolidated Credit Solutions Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33313. Licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Kansas CSO 0019051. Maryland DM 1492. Oregon DM 892. Licensed by the Virginia State Corporation Commission, license number TC83. Service may adversely affect the individual's credit. Non-payment of debt may lead to additional finance charges or collections activity, including legal action. Actual interest rates, length of program, and monthly payment reductions will vary by consumer and creditor. Yours could be higher or lower. Not a loan company. We do not lend money.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
KORE, Springfield, Eugene. I'm Steve Mims. You can listen to me on The Drive weekdays from 3 to 6 on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Welcome back to The Drive. Thanks for lending us your ears for our last hour. Here on it's Tuesday already? Yeah, we made it through Monday. AM 960 Sports, KLAD in Klamath Falls. Fox Sports Newport, 92.7 FM out there on the coast, KNCU, and of course in the valley here on the Sports Animal, 102.9 FM, 1050 AM. We are awaiting Tyson Alger. He's going to join us in a moment through the video. So if you're online, you can see us on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Tyson will be joining us in a moment. If you miss any of the program, go to any of our socials, Sports Animal EUG. You just do on all that. So if you're podcasting or if you want to find us on YouTube or Twitter or Twitch, you can see the video piece of the program. You can just go there and type in Sports Animal EUG. And I don't think the drive works on. You just do Sports Animal EUG. That's a good, safe bet. If you missed Jason Quick earlier, we talked about the Blazers. That was great information. I think we've ruined Steve's weekend because Jason Quick now knows Goose's secret identity, which is now Goose. It's now been distributed to his 7 other participants in the Jake golf tournament, who is a 2-time defending champ.
Yes,
you are. And so I'm kind of betting, Goose, that you might not have a three-peat because I think they're going to get up in your head.
Yeah, it's a group that can do that, and the memes that are popping up on the group chat are not good. So can
you show me more of them in the break? Because I enjoy them.
I'll keep them quiet for now.
Let's head on over to our video on the Oregon Man Clinic's video and audio hotlines. It's our good friend. You listen and watch him on his own podcast on the I-5 Corridor. He's also a crack reporter for Lookout Eugene Springfield and covers the Ducks really well. And also is a soccer aficionado. The beautiful game is Tyson Alger rejoining us here on the program. We call him the commish. Hey, buddy. Nice to see you.
This is kind of sensory overload for me.
Is it?
This is. I mean, like I knew how ugly Steve was. But like,
Yeah, careful. We don't have a dump button on the video, but. So, how's the summer been? The World Cup was great. Your coverage of it was spectacular. I mean, you had to be like in your element and being able to cover a world. That was the first time you were actually able to cover a World Cup, right?
Yeah, it's probably the only one like that they ever would have allowed me in, because I think what the previous one 4 years ago when it was in the Middle East, I had maybe watched like 4 full soccer games in my life at that point. And so it's been kind of like drinking through the fire hose. So yeah, that was kind of like a random, after I started covering the Timbers for a little bit and knowing that they were going to have the World Cup here, that was kind of like a little bit of a goal for me. Like I've done a lot of Oregon stuff over the years and I've seen some pretty cool things, but that was kind of like a really fascinating experience to be able to get to do that. But also, I'm realizing here in August that it was a massive mistake, guys, because Steve knows this. He lived the life of a college sports writer for many years, and we work a fair amount from now until, if you're me and Steve and you do the college basketball season on the back end of football, it's pretty busy during the school year, and then you're supposed to kind of the give and take is you're supposed to have a relaxing summer. And instead of that,
screwed that up.
Instead of that, I gallivanted around the country covering football, if you will. So, but no, it was. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world to come back from that though, and be with the number 2 team in the country in the coaches poll, gearing up for just another one of those years, guys. I mean, like what, 10, 11 wins? Like what are we going to be happy with here? Is it national championship or bust? You know, it's just kind of, we're back. It's football time.
It's the progression. You can follow him at Tyson Alger on the socials, I-5 Quarter. Look out Eugene Springfield. He's a great storyteller, and he's been a good friend of our program. We call him the commish here on The Drive. It's the Sports Animal EUG on the network now in Klamath Falls, in Newport. Going to add on Roseburg, Medford, Bend, and Coos Bay to this program in the coming weeks. So, Tyson, we did have earlier in the program, we talked about the Vegas line's 10.5 wins for Oregon. And I think Goose was right there at 10, so he's taken the under. I think Justin and I were at 11. We're right at the over. So, but with all of us, it's like there are going to be possibly some roadblocks, some speed bumps. So your immediate assessment from whatever you can gather because of your access of this Oregon team and Dan Lanning with the progression. You know, it was quarterfinals and it was semifinals, and now is it national championship? You said it, national championship or bust, or at least get to the game.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have two thoughts that are just conflicting with each other so much when it comes to that, and like what the expectations are for Oregon, because realistically speaking, when you look at the money involved and you look at the progression of Dan Lanning and the quality of this team and where they've gotten the last 2 years, I mean, what else is there to win, right? I mean, like, I don't think if you make it to the national championship, Duck fans are going to suddenly be happy with that, because you've gotten that twice already before. Like, the last real thing that is separating Oregon from all these other programs that it's kind of lapped over the last couple of decades is that national championship. And I don't think they've ever been in a position year in and year out to compete for it like they are now. Just, you know, it's year 5 of Dan Lanning. Everybody else was after 4 years at most. You know, you have this stability here. On the other end, think of some of like your favorite Oregon Ducks moments and like what games those came from. A lot of them probably came from the regular seasons. A lot of them probably came from maybe a New Year's 6 bowl game. A lot of them probably came from a Pac-12 championship game. Might even been 94 when suddenly it's just an interception suddenly makes your team alive for a bit. When you're in the national championship or bust, I think you have a lot of those things that have really made Oregon the program that it is, and those memories and those accomplishments that were noted and celebrated. I think we get lost in this, is it natty or bust? Like, did you win this? And so like that's where I'm conflicted, because like I do think that Oregon has put itself in a position to win a national title. I think they very well could this year, but like I really don't want to grade it based on that, just because like I like sports for the other stuff around it too. But you know, I might be in the minority.
Tyson, we just had Jason Quick on, so it's going to be a tough competition today for our favorite guest of the day.
He can take it.
I wish you luck there. But the good news is, you know, you were talking about, you know, you're going to have a little bit more time in the fall to yourself, because you're not going to have to worry about the Mariners. It doesn't look like in September or October. So that'll leave you a little extra time.
Nice.
What time are we going to today? Man,
that 2 more minutes is fine.
That was for the how ugly I was
way
comment.
to deflate the guest. Thanks very much.
Justin and I just talked about this on the pod, but like last weekend was the most Mariners thing ever, where like you're celebrating the 50th anniversary, which like no team in MLB history is better at celebrating its Hall of Decent better than the Mariners. Like it's probably the 25th anniversary of the 25th anniversary of 1995. You know, it's all that sort of thing. They lose this game 3-2 to the Rays. And then the most exciting thing about the entire season is Ichiro hitting like 4 home runs and like alumni home run derby afterwards. And I was enthralled, man, because we've all like, all of us who followed baseball knew the like kind of the Ichiro stories of, boy, if he entered the Derby, he could probably win it. Or he had that quote where I could hit 40 home runs a season if I was allowed to hit 220, which by the way would be pretty good these days, like 220, 40 home runs. Cal Raleigh would dream for that right now.
Yeah, he would.
But and then, you know, the logic part of your brain goes, the guy's like 51, 52 years old. Like, can he even still like hit it out of the park? He was a string bean before, and then he like grounded 2 out and then just got that like I don't know if every like star athlete of that caliber has just like a small amount of like the juice that you get to use for the rest of your career after you retire. Like maybe like somebody saw Michael Jordan in a pickup game and he was just like on it and like looked like Air Jordan in that moment. But Ichiro flipped that switch and he hit 4 straight home runs. I was like, you know what? I've had worse Mariners seasons. And like
the Oregon schedule, I feel like in recent years, whether it was the end of the Pac-12 or even the start of the Big Ten, you looked and it was like, there's kind of 2 games that could be kind of 50-50s. But for the most part, there were a lot of, I'm going to chalk those up as wins. The thing I find interesting this year is this could be a really good team and go 9-3. I mean, a good team could lose at Ohio State. Maybe I'm overestimating, USC and Michigan and Washington. But to me, and to throw in a Boise State game in an opener, and we know how those have gone, to me, there's like six legitimate, hey, I'm kind of really fascinated to see what's going to happen. This isn't a pick your score game. Great for you. But, at the same time, I feel like fans who are looking and saying, hey, it's the number 2 team in the country. All these people are saying it's the most talented roster. This team's heading to the playoffs. I think there could be some landmines out there just based on the schedule. I think is about as tough as we've had in a while.
I do completely agree with you there. And it's also funny because I forget where it was, but somebody was complaining to me about like how easy Oregon's schedule was maybe in October or like one of the months out of there. They're like, oh, they only play Ohio State,
Yeah.
It's just, we both covered the Ducks in the Pac-12 era where there were some years where you look at it and you're like, okay, like Washington at the end of the year, or in October, whenever it was played back then, back in the Stone Age, like that might've been a tough game, but you would have like a couple of years where maybe you wouldn't have like one of those premier ones. And I think in the Big Ten now, you're pretty guaranteed to at least have like one of those Ohio State, like last year was Penn State and, maybe put an asterisk on it. But this year, yeah, it's just like Ohio State's your big one, but then you also still have Washington. You still have at USC. I think for me, it's Ohio State and USC are the 2 big ones. I think there's a lot riding on that game for USC, just because like you have the Ducks in town. Like Lincoln Riley's kind of been the butt of the jokes for quite some time. Like this is kind of like your prove it moment. I don't think like it's necessarily that impactful. Like if Oregon happens to lose that game, I think USC has more to gain than Oregon does to lose in that one. But it's still a road game. USC has a lot of talent. Like we'll see where that one goes. And then Ohio State I think is. We've seen a few of those games. And I also think one of the follies of kind of the national championship or bust mentality is I guarantee you if Oregon goes into Columbus this year and they win that game, there's going to be people being like, okay, yeah, but what are you going to do in January? We've seen this before, if you will. So that should be fun.
I hear you guys about the schedule, and I would agree it's a tough schedule. But in a way, if you have a good team, don't you want a good schedule? You don't want to have that sort of schedule where you get to the end of the year and you beat your tough game. Maybe you have one. Maybe you have one Indiana or one Ohio State or whatever. But then you don't have that week in and week out of preparation, because when you get to the college football playoff, you're going to be facing good teams and you want to be prepared to play against good teams. So can't it be a benefit to have a tough schedule like this?
And it's amazing that he said Indiana when he was talking about tough games now. Just 2 years ago, were we going to say that to anybody? No.
It still doesn't quite sound real.
No.
When you talk about it. I definitely think there is positive to the tough game thing up until you lose one of those tough games. Like it's you can find positivity to it while you're winning those games. The one thing that I think gives me a little bit of confidence about this year and this team is there's a lot of like returning players in production spots that have experience. And the one thing, you can knock Dan Lanning for the way his seasons have finished the last 2 years with the Rose Bowl and the Peach Bowl. And even if you go back to kind of the Washington years, maybe outside of like one of those Washington teams, the only teams Lanning loses to are ones that are like at the end of the year, you go, that was better than them. The Ducks are pretty good at like playing to like their level, whether or not we can see them like jump up a level, there's games for that later in the year, but like, outside of 2 years ago when they had a bad, like first 3 weeks of non-conference games where they were still undefeated, but they had a couple close games. Like this is a team that takes care of competition, or like takes care of business, like when it's supposed to. And I think you know, with the majority of the continuity that you have coming back on the staff, and then like the key figures running the offense. Yeah, like I'm not like super worried about Boise State in week 1 is what I'm trying to get at.
The sultry tones of Tyson Alger. You can follow him on the socials at Tyson Alger. We call him the commish. You can also read what he writes. And I think there's some video that pops up there once in a while. Look out, Eugene Springfield. Of course, the I-5 corridor, that's his baby, distinctive voice. And he is a longtime contributor to our programs here. The Sports Animal Audio Network. We're live in several markets, more upcoming here in the next couple of weeks. Tyson, as we kind of wind things up, there's been a lot of talk about the offensive line. There's been a lot of talk of new coordinators being elevated and such. Where is the pitfall? Where's the X factor for Oregon if it doesn't go right? I mean, is it the X factor of injuries? Is it something else that we're not even thinking about right now?
I think, okay, so if you go through it, I think we kind of know at least like a base level of what you're going to get out of the quarterback, which is about 80% of the equation anyways. You know who he's going to throw the ball to, like DeCorian Moore, as long as he's healthy, is a pretty good player. Evan Stewart, same thing. I think Jamari Johnson, I think Jamari Johnson's going to have better stats this year than Kenyon Sadiq did last year. Like you have all that defensive line. I don't know if you guys have heard, but it might be one of the best in college football with all those guys coming back. Secondary, you get rid of Dylan Thieneman, you bring in Coy Parrish. Like it's pretty plug and play. Linebackers, I know people are maybe a little bit worried because you lose Bryce Betcher. You're putting a lot on like Jerry Mixon and you know, Devin Jackson. Is this finally the year? So there's some questions there, and same with the line. But ultimately I think this is like going into the season, this is at least an A- level team. And I think they can play to that level. And I think the only thing that is going to really prevent them from like maybe getting to the plus is depth. These are long season guys, like 16 games if you like want to win it all. Like that's insane. And the amount of like time that covers, like focus, like all those sorts of things, like we've seen that like depth becomes more and more important. Like this is why I love the Dylan Raiola thing so much. Not even talking about the future. I think it's great for this year because you can bring in a guy where if it comes down to something, like this guy can go win you games. I'm concerned about all the guys that left on the defensive line behind the 4 guys who returned. You know, if you get a couple injuries there, suddenly you're not able to stop the run in this conference. I think that could get you. But overall, I think there are questions, and there maybe are fair questions, but I think Oregon has proven that it can answer a lot of those things, especially on the offensive line, where it's like 3 years in a row with Elite Terry and Joe Moore award finalists. Like I think they're going to be okay there.
And it's like you read my mind with the Dylan Raiola thing. I was going to ask you about that particular situation. Is Oregon's depth at the quarterback position maybe a little bit like underrated in terms of a storyline? Because, you know, Dante Moore goes out for however long, you know, obviously not trying to speak that to existence. Like they have a guy that can win you games. Is that something that, you know, you think is going to be like valued like as much as it should?
I think it's one of those things where I would imagine Dan Lanning looks at like his Oregon Ducks of, yes, there might be years where he's peaking, where he has like a Dante Moore at quarterback, where it's like that guy is the like Heisman front running quarterback. But I think more than that, like he wants to keep like the championship window of contention open longer, right? Like I think that's what he's done is year in, year out. Like we go into this and we kind of have a pretty good feeling they're going to make the playoffs this year, right? And so I think what bringing in like a Dylan Raiola does, it's like a contingency plan, because it's just like, even if you have like one of these years where you do have a Dante Moore, like the rest of the roster is still at a point where like maybe you don't specifically need a Dante Moore to win, you know, to have things fall the right way later in the season. And so, you know, Raiola, I don't know if he's going to be like the 3rd guy in a row at Oregon to like be like, oh, let's go reclaim this guy. And then he turns into a Heisman caliber guy, like immediately like that, like Bo Nix or, you know, Dante Moore after UCLA or if he can do that. But like, I think we know that like if Dante were to get hurt in November and you need Dylan to go start on the road for a game, there's probably few backup quarterbacks in college football that you go like, all right, like maybe we still have a chance, you know, like I don't think Oregon's ever been in a position like that before, at least.
He's no Braxton Burmeister.
Yeah.
Wow. Bringing out a name from the past. Well, Tyson, we know that we're going to have you back on plenty of times during the season. Really enjoy reading what you write and watching the podcast as well on the I-5 corridor. Thanks for the contribution to the program, and welcome to the new show.
I appreciate it, guys. My head fills up a lot of this frame, so I think I'm going to scoot back a little further next time. But otherwise,
it was fine. On our side, it looks perfectly fine. I'm just saying, it might not be in your screen, but it looked great here.
And your head looks smaller when you're clean shaven. I'm not used to seeing the clean.
Oh man, I feel naked here, Steve. I don't like it. But
well, let's not do that because this is video. In the old days when you called in, you can wear or not wear whatever you want, but we gotta have.
You guys do like a premium feed or anything? Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.
This is not OnlyFans. Thanks very much. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate you.
Thanks, bud.
There he goes, Tyson Alger. Really, this program has degraded now to a point where I think I might need to call up some of our affiliates and apologize for things. But apologies not accepted in Boulder, Colorado. Deion Sanders is holding open Colorado football practices where everything's a secret, apparently. We're going to dive into that next here on The Drive.
Nothing is too big for the sports animal to handle. That's what she said. You're home for me, Dan Patrick, 6 to 9 a.m. weekdays, and The Drive with Danny, Steve, and Justin from 3 to 6. This is the sports animal.
All bets are on at the Three Rivers Casino Resort Sportsbook in Florence. Bet 24/7 at our kiosks or download the brand new Sportsbook app today and get $10 in free bets. Place wagers right from your mobile device while you relax in your room, hit the casino floor, or grab a bite. Then catch the action on Oregon's largest sports betting screen. Visit threeriverscasino.com/sportsbook to learn more. The Sportsbook at Three Rivers Casino Resort. Winning starts here.
You've got 60 minutes to dominate your lunch break. No timeouts. Just one shot to eat like a legend. Introducing the $11 Killer Box Lunch only at Killer Burger in Eugene. That's a pint burger, small fries, and a fountain drink, all for just $11. Killer Burger, brought to you by another Eugene legend, LaMichael James. The $11 Killer Box Lunch only at Killer Burger on Coburg Road in Eugene.
Iconic summer moments deserve an iconic drink. Reach for Mountain Dew, an American original. From its beginnings in the foothills of Tennessee to your biggest summer yet. The refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew is the perfect companion to your American summer adventures. Enjoy the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Tasting great since '48. Look for Mountain Dew in stores near you at mountaindew.com. That's mountaindew.com.
Where do my friends and other students find their voice? We find our voice through the performing arts, along with millions of other high school students. By expressing yourself in a role on stage, through an instrument, or at the debate podium, the performing arts give us freedom to find ourselves, to find our place. The stage is where I can play, perform, and compete with my friends.
Performing arts at your school is where creativity meets courage. Encourage the students in your life to find their voice through the performing arts. This message presented by the NFHS, where we encourage all students to play, perform, and compete together.
Hey guys, Jason McCourty here. As a 13-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion, people always ask me, what's it like getting ready for the big game? Let me tell you, it's all about preparation, knowing what you're up against, especially when food allergy is part of the game plan. When you're on the field, you're playing for your fans. At home, you're playing for your family. My playbook, read labels, keep it allergy friendly, and have an epinephrine nasal spray as a backup plan. Visit foodallergy.org to learn more.
1050 AM and 1029 FM and the sportsanimalueugene.com. Broadcasting from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Live in Klamath Falls, AM 960 Sports, KLAD. Fox Sports Newport, KNCU, 92.7 out there on the coast. And in the valley at 102.9 FM, 1050 AM. We are the Sports Animal Audio Network. Roseburg coming on next week. Medford right after that. Bend and Coos Bay on the horizon. So thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow on the program, Justin, we have the newly anointed voice of the University of Washington, Elise Woodard, is going to be on the program. She's also been a longtime sideline reporter, play-by-play on the television side for the Portland Fire. She's a multi-talented personality, and she's going to start out our show tomorrow. Right?
Well, actually, Zach Lowboy is going to be in here.
Oh, first.
Before, yeah.
Okay, so Marist High School head football coach. We're doing a tour of the football programs.
Exactly. So, yeah, we're going to have him on, and then we're going to have Elise on.
Okay, that's all tomorrow.
And then we're also going to have George Reister.
And George Reister, who just signed another deal. George has got another job now working with On3.
Elise, North Eugene Star, register guard athlete, female athlete of the year. I want to say 1988, 1989.
Look at this memory this guy has.
I think she was a great soccer, and before I got to the guard, obviously, but I think she was a great soccer, basketball, and went on to play played at Washington. So yeah, cool for her to come back and remember the little people in her old hometown now that she's a D1 play-by-play person.
Yeah, and she's done a lot in her career. She's made a very nice living, and it's not going to stop. So that's tomorrow on the program. We still want to talk. We got a few things to talk about today, including this next story with Deion Sanders, and then our FCS versus Power 4 upsets extinct. And then the big dumper at the end. The big dumper going to end the program. So the Oregon Man Clinics hotline open for you, 541-844-3484, toll free, 877-844-3484. We're also online, and you can follow us on Sports Animal EUG, all the socials, sportsanimal.eug.com. That's where we'll post a link to all the podcasts, not just our show, but Dan Patrick, Colin Cowherd, Two Pros and a Cup of Joe, Covino and Rich. All of the programs that we have here locally are on there as well, including our show. So, and this is the last one for you this week, and then next week you're gone the entire week.
Yeah, I'll be there next week.
You'll be where? You're
It's
pointing
Iowa.
up.
That's the Field of Dreams game.
Okay, well, you're
in
pointing
Iowa.
up to the television, which
I
is
know.
great radio, but I mean, we can see.
Well,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
streaming. We can see. So yeah, I'll be. We take my son to college next week, so that's where I'll be in Iowa for the week.
So you're not going to the Field of Dreams, though.
No, we haven't made all our plans. Or maybe we just go watch the Des Moines Cubs in their home ballpark. I haven't looked to see if they're in town.
Pretty
but maybe
cool.
we could check out some Kevin Alcantara. Just homered on here. He was up with the Cubs like a week ago. He must have just
I
got
know.
sent down, but
They hate him.
He just homered. So
You can watch
yeah.
some Owen Ayers.
Yes, and Owen Ayers they just brought up on there the AAA catchers. So yeah, no, I'm sorry to leave you guys. Like I say, that
No,
this
you're not.
is
No.
here,
So
and
we
then
stop right
that-
there. You're not sorry to leave us.
I am. I enjoy doing this. I really do. But some duties, friends and family discounts call, and but I'm looking forward to come back. When I get back the 24th, we're going to be full on into almost game prep at that point.
Oh yeah,
and
We got big things
You guys
coming.
have all the bugs worked out. We're going to have a jump button that works. Everything's going to be good by the time I get back.
Yeah, the talent. So I have a feeling that Goose is going to be like the talent. He's going to be the superstar. Just sits down, throws the headset on. He's going to be our Pat McAfee.
No. That's not me.
Pat McAfee's a sports fan.
Yes, he is. Yes, he's not a sports thinker.
No.
Yes, that's one of the best lines ever. Thanks for, again, lending us your ears, folks. Hope you're enjoying the program. If you have any comments, you can also reach out to us via the socials as well. Just give us a follow, and you can go ahead and comment away. And all of our contact information on the sportsanimal.eug.com website. All right, so Deion Sanders, this is from a reporter's perspective. Steve, I want you to give us your insight after I kind of give the rundown here. And thanks for finding this, by the way, Baby J. Deion Sanders holding open Colorado football practice where everything's a secret. So how do you think that happens? Well, here's how it happens. There's an open practice for fans and reporters for the first time under Deion Sanders, okay? But here's the catch. There's no reporting allowed. Everyone attending must turn in their phones. Nothing. Does everybody have to? I didn't read all the way down through this. Does everyone have to sign something? Because it says nothing observed at practice may be reported, published, posted, broadcast, or otherwise shared in any form on any platform at any time CU said in an email. If you are uncertain whether something is reportable, the answer is that it is not. Fans and media attending are required to hand over their phones. They'll be held by Colorado and returned after practice ends. Fan tickets to the practice were sold out, so the fans didn't care. Goose, would you even go to something like this?
Yeah, it's something that we had to deal with, because even like at Oregon and other schools, they would say, hey, you can come to practice, but you can't report on anything you saw. And that was always a quandary for me because I understand going there and it's good to get background info to see things and to feel like you're getting a better chance.
So you would file it in the back of your mind?
You would. Now, if the starting quarterback blew out his knee, that's where the question would have come up. Like, hey, can I really hold this back? It's not like we had to sign anything. It was just sort of like, hey, you guys can come, but just don't report on what you see. I always struggle with that because, again, I feel like as the reporter, my job was to tell people what I see. And then, so it wasn't as big of a deal when it was a practice. Again, and if something major had gone down, that would have been a different one. My bigger concern being I'm a fan. Like, I'm literally reading this thing. Like, I can't go home and tell my wife what I saw at the thing because I'm sworn to secrecy on this. That's over the top. That's ridiculous. If you want to tell people, and again, if you want to take the phones so they can't put video up, I'm even okay with that. But this point that like you can't even basically tell anybody what you saw there or anything like that. You can't tell any trick plays. Just don't invite the fans in at that point. It's ridiculous to basically put your fans and make them feel like, hey, you guys are being watched. And if you're going to come in here, you can't do this and you can't do that. Look, folks, it ain't hard surgery. It's football. Pretty much, I doubt Deion's bringing in an entirely new offense, and we've never seen anything he's doing out of it before. People have seen it before. Stop being paranoid, football teams. And yeah, I'd be ticked if I was a fan because I'd like to be, following on and texting and seeing things that are going about. But the journalism part, this has been a thing before to where to me, it was a tough line to cross and to say, hey, I'll go, but it's almost like and you go to a city council meeting and you go to the executive session. It's off the record. You cannot report what you see. But the point of it is to get the background so that you can leave executive session and ask the people, hey, will you talk on the record about this? That was kind of how I looked at that. And again, unless a major injury broke out, it was never a huge issue, but it was a line that I didn't love.
There's only one way I can follow up that eloquent statement, and it's with
Mr. Eloquent.
Yeah. If a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? If Deion Sanders in Colorado holds a practice without any cameras, did they even hold a practice?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't like the idea that they're just going to remove credentials and stuff like that from people because that's how they're going to figure it out, right? They're going to well, you posted this, so we're not going to give you credentials. So I don't love the idea that they're hanging that over the reporters' heads. And I don't know. I've always thought that one thing I appreciated about Oregon until they sort of did this stuff with, withholding practices is that it felt like a very open sort of thing where you could get information and they wanted to be covered. And I do think that it is a little bit disturbing that there's this trend of schools that I'm not saying it's like propaganda, but they want to control what's going out and they have these videos they release. And I think Oregon's obviously on the forefront.
It is propaganda.
I mean, basically, I'm not saying it's propaganda, but it's basically propaganda.
You're not seeing both sides. You're seeing one side and you're only reading one side.
Yeah, but we don't want that as consumers of sports media. We don't want that. We want the truth. And you're not going to get anything like that from Colorado right now.
No. And you're not going to get that from Oregon right now. Again, that's why, people love the Ducks versus them. And there's a reason that they don't put those out if they lose a game, right? They only come out after wins. And there's never a lot of adversity you see in there or somebody shouting down. It's just the all positivity, things like that. So, but yeah, that's their right. I mean, they're great. By the way. They are the messenger. That's their message, and they're putting it out, and they can stop the other messengers from coming in, and they do that. And again, it's not an Oregon thing. Most teams are doing that. There's very few that do it the other way. But to me, yeah, it's disappointing. And especially as we talk about college football, because I'd love to have an Eric Scopel on the show and be able to say, hey, tell us what you've seen in practice.
Right. And that's why we
give
have
a general
them on the
overview
show,
of some things rather than telling folks like that, even that they're out. So,
well, that's why I've been asking the question of all these scribes that said, so how do you then, the Zach Neals and the Eric Scopels and the Tyson Algers, and even us, when we are going to go watch, it's like, how then do you gather this information? And I think several of them said some very key points is about, you talk to other players when you can, you talk to the coaches when you can, you kind of piece things together organically without actually being able to physically be there and see it with your own eyes. And you have to trust people that they're giving you the right information. And that's what's coming down to right now. And listen, there's lids on every program. And the higher you get up the ladder, the tighter it gets. because the competition is fierce, as we've seen throughout any program that wants to be considered a national champion contender. And this is not uncommon. So when we talk about this with Colorado, so here's the thing with Colorado, they were 3-9 last year under Deion Sanders. They are now 16-21 in 3 seasons. My bigger question is, how long is this Deion Sanders experiment going to keep going on in Colorado? Because it has not been what they thought it was going to be, bringing him from Jackson State.
But let's not forget where it was when they got him. I mean, it was maybe even lower on the totem pole than where it is now. You talk about Indiana being one of the worst programs. I mean, Colorado was right there.
But do you see Deion Sanders doing a Kurt Signetti in Boulder?
No, I don't. But I'm
anywhere
all
close.
I'm saying is that their revenue, like everything has been just like jump started since Deion Sanders got there. Their program. I'm not saying it's ended up where they wanted to, but how do you kind of pivot from that, right? Like, this is supposed to be your ace, your trump card, and all of a sudden now you're gonna fire the guy. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. Like, there hasn't been the success, but I just don't see where you go from there after that.
My whole deal with the Deion Sanders experiment, and listen, great player and one of the last few two-way players. I mean, the guy was an amazing athlete, incredible.
One of the best ever.
Playing professional baseball, successful there. Professional football, successful there, a great college player. And he has had some success at a smaller or I don't say less competitive level, but a different level than the highest level in college football. And I don't know how it's necessarily translated and can translate into success where any school at this level would want him. I think it ends up being, listen, I hate to say it, but I see a lot of KFC commercials and Aflac commercials and reality TV shows and stuff. Those are all distractions, and they take time away from you paying attention to the program.
Yeah. My concern, if I was a Colorado fan, would be that when he came in, it was like Deion's going to kill it in recruiting. This is going to be the recruiter. Yeah. Kids are going to die to play for him. The 2 best recruits he's gotten came with him from Jackson State, and one of them is his son, and the other one is a guy that he brought in there, and Travis Hunter. He hasn't had the splash in the. I don't think they're a top 25 recruiting team every year.
He hasn't sustained it, is what he did.
Well, he hasn't even hit like a top 25 class, because that was all that portal year when they came in, and then even the portal stuff. He lost his lineman to Texas this year. He hasn't brought back in the portal part of it, and I think part of this issue is he doesn't get out, and I mean, he's not traveling around. He's doing everything and sends out his assistants, and then he just kind of stays in because he doesn't want to be flying all around the country doing this. It was easier to do that at Jackson State because you can get people at a lower level.
He's not Nick Saban.
The disappointment, I think, if I'm a Colorado fan, would be that this was supposed to be the guy that we brought in for his recruiting acumen. And, hey, we're going to have top 5 recruiting classes every year because of this guy. And that hasn't happened. And if you're not getting that, then you're definitely not going to see it on the field any more than the 1 year when, again, he brought in 2 of the top players that had came with him.
So are we going to see upsets anymore? FCS and Power 4? Well, honestly, are they going to even keep playing each other? I think that could be a bigger question. So there's going to be less opportunity for an App State to beat a Michigan. But we'll discuss next on The Drive. Stay tuned right here on the Sports Animal Audio Network.
1050 AM, 1029 FM, and the sportsanimaleugene.com. Other stations can say they cover the Ducks and Beavers, but we bring the receipts. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Men like to get the most out of things. We expect results when we hit the gym, and we expect to finish our weekend to-do list. We also expect ourselves to never slow down, even when some things start to get a little harder. Low testosterone levels might be slowing you down. That's when Oregon Man Clinics step in. Sharpen your focus, regain energy levels, and improve your love life with treatment options tailored to you. Get the most out of being a man. Visit us online at our Springfield, Bend, and Albany locations.
So what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only.
Do you know what's really awesome about this? You know, I threw out the name South Dakota State And what's the first one that they put on this list that could be an upset? South Dakota State at Northwestern. No, North Dakota State. Kentucky. All right, well, we'll talk about it.
My son AJ here with a word of encouragement from Cottage Road Chevy. In these uncertain economic times, know that Cottage Road Chevy is here for you today
and tomorrow. Your need for a vehicle isn't going away. We aren't either.
We're proud to serve our customers for over 35 years, and we truly consider it a privilege.
Your support is greatly appreciated.
Cottage Road Chevy is proud to be part of our community, and we're here for you. Thank you.
Every year, millions of pets go missing, leaving families heartbroken. If you lose or find a
like
pet,
John Lester throwing to first base before he started underhanding everything. Huh? No, this is Field of Dreams game.
He's got a different game. We have Field of Dreams up there. Two different
Yeah, no. We're watching Field. Look behind you. That's the game we're watching in here. Yeah. That's cool.
.org.
I'd actually.
In Oregon, we're taking a stand against hate crimes.
A stand for inclusion,
For acceptance.
civility,
Unity.
With a new law, we're taking a stand against riots,
against bigotry,
prejudice, homophobia,
other phobia
against violence and intimidation.
of any kind.
So we can make a real difference.
It's a stand for our future.
So no one has to be the victim of a hate crime.
Because we're all Oregonians.
And taking a stand
Is what we do. Learn more at standagainst.hate.oregon.gov.
A message from the Oregon Department of Justice. Don't change the channel. Your radio might explode. Okay, not really. But you miss a minute of the drive, you might miss something, well, spectacular.
On we go.
The Drive is back on 102.9 FM and 1050 AM. The Sports Animal.
Live in Newport, Eugene, and Klamath Falls. This is The Drive. Thanks for sitting a spell with the gang here. It's Danny, it's Justin, it's Steve, who's going to go off and golf on the coast at Gerhardt on Friday and Saturday. Golf tournament to celebrate a friend that passed away, Jake Panowich.
Yep.
They call it the Jake. Right? And he's a two-time winner. I have a feeling that when you return to us in a week and a half, but I want to know, okay, you got a text so I can talk about you without you being here on Monday.
I'll text you the final scoreboard so you can see me, Quick, and Smoking Joe Freeman. Smoking Joe Freeman's in it too. So we got three veterans of the Drive now, or the Danny and Justin show, who will be there.
All right. So, Justin, you found an article. We talked about the disparity at times in the FCS, FBS, Power 4 opponents. FCS now, the sacrificial lambs that the SEC puts up and offers when they have their Week 9 games, a little respite, and somebody gets to grab a check. But there are fewer and fewer games being scheduled, but there are several. So the article is interesting to me as you scroll through. From 2006 to 2021, the Power 4, Power 5 versus the FCS had a 952 winning percentage, 747 to 38. The group of 5-6 versus the FCS in 2025 was 62-4. And overall, from 2006 through 2021, they had an 892 winning percentage. Now, again, there were several games that I think are crystallized in our mind when we talk about David versus Goliath matchups, right? We know a couple that come right to our heads. Stony Brook's in there. Slippery Rock. Appalachian State. And those. So, but they're coming.
Portland State beat Mike Leach at Washington State.
Right.
Remember they knocked out
I had forgotten about that one. So there are only a few matchups that are coming up this year, but there are some that are on the radar. And I was just throwing this aside. I hadn't opened up the article. You hadn't even sent it to me.
I know. I didn't realize I hadn't sent it to you.
I had thrown out the name South Dakota State. They're ranked number 3 in the FCS. They're at Northwestern. And that's on the radar of a possible FCS upset. Other games, you want to lay out some of the other games, Baby J?
Yeah, sure.
And then I want Goose to comment on his thoughts of the David versus Goliath thing.
Yeah, Youngstown State at Kentucky, which is, I believe, the first game of the season. So that one's being mentioned in the article. North Dakota State and Nebraska. Or sorry, North Dakota and Nebraska. Tennessee Tech at Mississippi State. That one seems a little hard to believe. Austin P. Is it P? Is that how you
Austin
pronounce
P.
it?
Yeah, that's right.
At Vanderbilt. That one's another one that's like, that seems a little bit far-fetched to me, but, there's a reason why they're being put in the article, right?
Do we love the underdog? Do we
do.
really love the underdog?
Sadly, the underdog used to be the FCS school was the underdog because they had smaller roster sizes, and obviously the other team had better recruiting classes. But now you're looking at Oregon might have a $40 million roster. Portland State might have a $400 roster.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's now how far different. It's not just that, hey, they got 105 players.
The
and Portland
disparity
State's
is
only got-
widened.
It has. And it's widened between Group of 6 and Power 4. Again, the difference between Oregon and Oregon State when they were in the same conference, Oregon was better most years, but now it's this canyon that we've seen, which is why they're not playing. And again, because that's probably a $40 million roster, we're in a $5 million roster. So that's what's changing. Is it used to be, hey, these guys can, on a good day, they might be able to kind of hang in there. But now these rosters, the game's changed to where these Power 5 rosters have gotten so expensive and talented that it's really hard for. And the other part of it is it used to be, hey, the little school had those rosters that stuck together for 5 years because their guys weren't going on. Now those guys are getting plucked by the bigger ones. So even those schools are having to start over because if you go and Oregon State took like 5 guys from FCS because they look and see some guy who's got 80 catches for 800 yards and 7 touchdowns
and they fit in the program
at Austin P and you bring him in there and you give him a little bit more money. So that's the other part of it is that you used to have kind of the stability of those franchises, but that's all done too. So all the changes in college football obviously have worked against the FCS, which has given us this much bigger canyon that makes it much less like it. Now, could it happen in, like you say, the Tennessee Tech, that might just be Mississippi State's not very good. I don't know if Tennessee Tech's any good. But if you did have one of those North Dakota's Montana types, like you say, North Dakota against Northwestern, or if you had Montana taking on Rutgers, just something like that, maybe we get one that's really down versus one that is pretty competitive. But I think. But
how much would that really be that huge of an upset though? If you have a top 2 team in the FCS playing a team that was 0-for going in at the FBS level?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're still now look at it because, and it would be more embarrassing now because all those teams have $20 million rosters at least. So now your fan
and
base
they're collecting a check for it too.
Correct.
You get the check and you get the win.
And you can literally say every player on that team would like to play for you because they would all take an F. So it's a tough look too because you basically should have, if there's 150 players in that game, and you should have the best 75 because any guy in that team, if you'd have just sent him a letter, he'd have come to you instead of them.
It kind of reminds me of college basketball as well, where we aren't seeing as many upsets in the tournament because all those guys are getting plucked from those teams, and you're never going to see a Steph Curry at Davidson anymore. You're going to have that guy by his sophomore year. He's going to be at Duke, right?
Same exact thing.
All right. Well, it's a good discussion, and you can discuss it around the dinner table tonight if you want, or a beverage somewhere out there. Goose is going to have a couple of beverages this weekend, I think, as he tries and erases the memory of his nickname with his friends, which is now cat's out of the bag. That's all there is to it. You got to suffer through it. You'll man up. You'll do well. All right. Big Dumper next. Been avoiding this conversation for 24 hours. Back on the drive.
Sometimes they're right.
Rest my case.
Sometimes they're wrong.
You want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
But no ears were harmed in the making of their disagreements.
I don't know what we're yelling about.
You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
It kind of sneaks up on you. You're more tired than you should be, a little less focused, a little less motivated. Maybe you've gained a little weight. It's normal. A lot of men experience it, but that doesn't mean you have to live with it. At Hale Men's Clinic, personalized testosterone therapy can help you restore your energy, your clarity, your edge. Real solutions, real results. Hale Men's Clinic. Feel good now. Curious about your levels? Walk into Hale Men's Clinic in Eugene, Bend, or Roseburg for your free testosterone test today. More info at halemensclinic.com.
Millions of Americans are glued to their TV weekly, watching a sport they love. Come and relive your childhood at A&J Sports Cards. They have a wide variety of sports cards and memorabilia. Eugene's home for collecting is A&J Sports Cards. Whether you're looking for the stars from the past or the present, you'll find them at A&J Sports Cards. They're here to meet your hobby needs. That's A&J Sports Cards, 1478 West 6th Avenue, 541-343-5561.
Even though the weather is getting warmer, many people in our community are still vulnerable and need your help. Raven, Radical Assistance for Vulnerable Eugene Neighbors, is seeking donations to help those who need it most. Raven is asking for help with water bottles, raincoats, socks, shoes, blankets, tarps, and camping gear, or even a direct cash donation. Donations can be made at Raven distribution sites or via GoFundMe. For more information, visit our website, raveneugene.org. That's RAVEN, Eugene.org.
The American Red Cross urgently needs blood and platelet donations and asks donors to schedule an appointment to give now. Every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood. Your blood donation is critical and can help save lives. Please, schedule an appointment today. Download the Blood Donor app, visit redcrossblood.org, or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. You can make a difference.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids, regardless of their illness or injury. When a child is hospitalized, the happiness of childhood feels out of reach. But that's where Starlight comes in. We provide entertainment through our gaming stations, comfort with our specially designed hospital gowns, play with our toy deliveries, and distraction through our virtual reality headsets. Starlight programs are what happiness is made of. The things that make being a kid special. The simple power of a smile. Delivered to over 800 hospitals across the country can make a lifetime of difference for sick kids. Learn more at starlight.org.
Nothing is too big for the sports animal to handle. That's what she said. You're home for me, Dan Patrick, 6 to 9 a.m. weekdays, and The Drive with Danny, Steve, and Justin from 3 to 6. This is the sports animal.
Last segment of the program here on a Tuesday. The Drive, Sports Animal Audio Network. Elise Woodard tomorrow, Washington play-by-play. Portland Fire play-by-play. George Reister, former Oregon Duck, has his own Unafraid show. Commentator, studio host, CW for college football this fall, and now newly named on 3. So he's been just out there working it, man. Thursday on the program, Chris King from Washington State, Angie Machado from Beaver Blitz. Dive back into Oregon State a little bit more Jamarcus Shepard quotes, I'm sure, and Angie's insight. Did I run down everybody? Do we have somebody else tomorrow as well?
I think you got tomorrow right. On Thursday, we're also going to have Chris King, the play-by-play.
That's what I said, Chris King.
Oh, you did?
For
Okay,
Washington
sorry.
State. You weren't listening to me.
I guess I wasn't.
Did I just say Chris King?
I'm running a board back there.
Yeah,
you got a lot going on back there.
Listen, if I don't crack on him, I don't love him.
And the Iowa Cubs are playing. He's probably a little distracted by that as well.
He's getting confused, thinking it's the Chicago Cubs who are actually up 7-4 over the Washington Nationals, bottom of the 6th with one out, Washington at the plate. All right, so you've really been wanting to talk about Cal Raleigh because of the slump. And more for the, as you want to talk about because of the nickname or because he had such a great year last year, and that Seattle is kind of going in the tank a little bit, and it's led by his struggles as well.
Yeah, I've never gotten the nickname thing, but that's kind of besides the point. I think it's just fascinating.
See, and you can't be embarrassed by Goose when Cal Raleigh is the big dumper.
Let's just read the stats here.
All right.
Last year,
yeah,
248 average, I should say. This year, 161. I mean, that's like a
Goose. You could hit
crater.
161.
60 home runs last year, 12 so far this year, 109 RBI, 43 so far this year. OPS was plus 900. This year, it's 571. I mean, this is like a total collapse in terms of a player's performance. And there's part of me that thinks there has to be some sort of injury involved. I also wonder, is it some sort of just you had such a great year last year, there's a little bit more pressure on you? I'm not sure, but it just goes to show that for baseball, like if you're not 100% right, like it can go like really quick.
Because last year was an outlier too. He'd never had more than 30 home runs, and he went to 60. So it leads me to believe that, and just for whatever reason last year, that was seeing it good, was hitting it well,
Was
and
getting
it was
the right
just sort of
pitches.
and that kind of a thing. And then once your confidence goes, it goes. He started off this year, I want to say his first 14 at bats, he struck out in 13 of them. So it was right from the start. And
There was
maybe
the
at
whole
that point, you start
Arozarena
questioning
thing,
that
too.
thing. Yeah, the Arozarena thing. I'm just saying, when you strike out 13 or 14 suddenly, so it almost feels like for me, it's a mental thing. When he's going well, it's good. And when he's not, it's not.
So it's the 12 inches between the ears. Is that what you're saying? That space is more of the problem?
Well, this is why it's a shame to me he didn't win MVP, because no offense to Aaron Judge, but Aaron Judge is, multi-time MVP award winner at this point. And Cal Riley, he had his career year. And, even if you're just looking at his other years that he's played, he's getting still an above average offensive player. I mean, he's not a guy that was a fantastic, getting MVP votes type of guy, but he was somebody that as a catcher, you were really, really pleased about his offensive production. So maybe it is a between the ears thing, but I've just never seen a guy that has gone from almost MVP, maybe deserving of being an MVP in any other year, to all of a sudden now being invisible.
It's kind of like the tin cup theory of things. Once you get the yips, once you get the shanks, once you get that stuff,
You put that in my head right now.
Well, I'm actually going to do a golf dad joke as well as we end the program today. But it's one of those things where if you can't figure out what you've done well and keep repeating that, it's just like a golf swing, then it's really hard to try and replicate it and get it back again. So, for Cal Riley, hopefully he does. He figures that out again. All right. Why would a golfer wear two pairs of pants?
In case he got a hole in one.
Yeah, it's
my kid told me that when he was 7. That's an old one.
I just picked it out of the air.
Wow.
Man. All right. Have a great time, Goose. Have a great time with
I
your
will.
friends.
I'll miss you
Goose.
guys. I'll miss you guys.
Miss you too.
Thanks to all my friends for coming on today.
AM 960, KLID, Klamath Falls, Fox Sports Newport, and the Sports Animal Eugene. For Baby J, for Goose, I'm Doc. Put a smiley face someone else. Today's episode to you. Peace.
1050 AM and 1029 FM and the sportsanimaleugene.com. Broadcasting from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Beaver Nation, the 2026